Look what you did, you little jerk.
What's going on, jerk faces? Welcome to another brand new episode of the Circle of Jerks podcast. We're always glad to be back, and we have some new guests. And I'm going to throw it off over to, I've been demoted again because I didn't bring the guests. So, James, why don't you hit off,
All right.
Introduce your guests.
So I'm really excited for this one. We're with Sarah and Eric.
Hi.
NamFamBam.
Hello.
Hello.
We met each other through Jiu Jitsu, right? I think it's been technically about a year. But I guess it's been more like the past few months. I've been training with you a lot more because of Muay Thai and whatnot. But I've been wanting to have you guys on because, I don't know, you guys seem like a very unique, fun couple.
It doesn't always feel like it.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're usually a jerk to us.
We are unique.
Well, at least
In a
one of
good
them was
way,
fun,
unique.
but we won't tell you which one.
Right, yeah. But no, I've also been looking at watching your vlogs a little bit, so you could talk about that in a bit. But I don't know. I also think it's always cool. Like you guys train jiu-jitsu as a family, right? You and your sons over there.
Yes.
So and you guys started technically like after you got them into it, right?
Right.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because a lot of times it's the other way around. The parents do it and then they get their kids to do it.
Is that
So
right?
you guys started
Yeah.
what, like about a year ago, 2 years ago?
I think almost 2 years ago.
Well, Grayson
now.
started about almost 3 years ago. February will be 3 years. So 2.5 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was the first one to do it. We got really into it. As parents, we got really into it a little bit too much. We had to kind of reel
In the
ourselves
beginning,
back.
yeah, for sure.
Because we got caught up in the whole
Yes.
competition thing, and like he was
Yes.
doing every single competition.
Yes.
And to the point where I was a little bit too overbearing. And I
He
was
was
that
the
crazy
dad that said,
tiger
like,
dad.
get up right now.
yeah,
Like,
those annoying
stop
dads.
crying.
Yeah.
Like, stop your crying right now.
Like
yeah.
when the gym posts up signs and says,
Yeah.
parents, please don't
Please don't
coach.
coach.
They're talking to me.
Oh,
yeah.
In the
So
beginning,
you're
in the beginning, in the
You're the
beginning.
little league dad. Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
I
he
was.
was.
Did you guys
And
hear
I
about?
was too a little bit, because you don't want. You're like, stop crying. You're a little boy. Like, man up a little bit.
Yeah, but then
We did do that. Yeah.
He was. I was proud when he told me. He actually told me after one competition. He said, "First of all, can we cut back on competitions?" I was like, "Why?" He said, "Well, in so many words, he was getting burned out. But then the words he used was, "You're also making me not like jiu-jitsu."
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I think that was an eye
That was
opener
kind of the
for
light
sure.
bulb for me. It's like,
Right.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's me. It's
Yeah.
really all me.
Yeah.
And then
And me.
everyone always said you should train and see what it's like. So I did, and it's like, oh, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That
That's
Actually,
true.
that
The
actually reminds me
first-
of
yeah.
interesting story. A youth soccer referee. He started up a Facebook group, and he asked for people to send in video of overbearing parents, like just losing it on the
Sure.
field, like yelling at the kids or yelling at the officials.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's like, and so like I think he's offering like even like some like kind of monetary compensation. too.
Really? I wish I had
Yeah.
video. I'd be.
Wow.
You mean
I'm
making
pretty
a
You'd be surprised.
You know,
Oh my
yeah, you
God.
should have done it. He's like, your
That's
wife
Eric.
should video you and then send it in, and then you can get the money.
I would make the highlight reel every single time.
Babe, it wasn't that bad. I think we
bad.
did have a moment, but I think
Yeah.
there's far more worse.
Yeah, but
That's
it
so
really changed
interesting.
perspective when I
Yeah.
started rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I think that was a very important turning
Now,
point.
do you feel like when you were growing up, I mean, you're Korean, I'm Korean, you're not, but
What?
Yeah.
Oh, Rob, you're
All
not?
right.
You're not Korean?
Yeah, but he's honorary Korean. He's
Well,
honorary.
his
Korean.
girlfriend's Korean.
Yeah.
And I saw kimchi in his fridge.
Yeah, his
so,
girlfriend is
I
Korean.
mean, definitely.
Yeah. But were your parents like really strict, typical Korean, overbearing parents?
My dad kind of was, but at the
Oh.
same time, he was the typical. I don't know if it's typical, but he was also sort of like a detached dad.
Okay.
yeah, of course.
Everything was through the mom, through
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mom, all the communication. And my mom was the complete opposite, super liberal. Like first time I smoked cigarettes, first time I smoked weed, I was able to tell her because she was that
Oh,
open.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I
we
can't
had a
do that with
really
my
good
mom.
relationship.
Yeah.
I would
I haven't even had the sex talk with my parents yet.
Yeah. I'm like the typical too. Yeah. My parents are very strict.
Yeah.
Yeah, very typical Korean immigrated family. That is my story. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
speaking of story, I actually wanted to hear both of you guys' stories and how you met and etc. But yeah, you could just give me a little, give all of us a little summary of where you grew up. We'll start with Eric and
Okay.
where you went
Sure.
to school, what you do for work, and
Sure. Yeah, I grew up. When I was growing up, we moved around a lot. I was born, and when I was born in LA, I was born in LA. We lived in Arleta, and then we moved to Koreatown, and then we moved to Arcadia, then we moved to Sherman Oaks, then we moved to Encino.
Oh wow.
Damn, y'all moved
Oh, we
everywhere.
moved a lot. I went to like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 different elementary
how come you guys
schools.
moved so much?
Just parents' work. Things
Yeah.
didn't work out. Things did work out, then didn't work out again. You know the whole typical
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
And then we ended up in El Segundo, which is where I spent the longest time before high school. And growing up there was very interesting because it was literally all white.
Right.
You know, I was one of only 2 Asian people, literally,
Right.
in the whole school. So I grew up thinking I was white.
Oh,
Or like
yeah.
I was like a weird-looking white dude. But then, end of 8th grade, we moved to the Valley, and that's when we came here. And then I started at Nobel, and it was like a reverse culture shock
You went to Nova?
because all these people who look like me and speak this language, and I don't know how to connect or talk to them.
Right.
You know, because I'd never grown up around that.
Uh-huh.
And I had to adapt to that. And that was a whole, maybe, I didn't transition until maybe about, 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, moved to New York for school, and then moved back. But then while I was in New York, I would come back every once in a while, and I had a whole group of friends here, my core group of friends.
Right.
And she ended up being part of that group, Sarah.
Okay.
And apparently we knew each other in high school, or we knew of each other.
I knew you.
You knew me. How did you know me?
Not hot.
Not
Not
as-
hot.
not as the
Let
cool
me
guy,
tell you
'cause
that.
I was not the cool guy.
We would have never dated in high school. That is for sure.
I was the guy
He
in
was the
corduroy
guy who
pants.
came out from the bleachers, like very like
In a haze of
Hesher. We would
smoke.
use the word Hesher.
I remember
word,
that haze of smoke.
Very long hair, like kind of covering his face, acne obviously. White
Yeah.
T-shirt, I remember. Cargo, like
Cardigan.
no, it was like khaki color
yeah,
pants.
corduroy pants.
Very awkward, skinny,
Green
walking
cardigan. I was like a
towards me when I was in
wannabe
PE.
Kurt Cobain, like
Yeah. And I was like, that guy
Okay.
is not hot.
I wouldn't have dated him
Next.
either.
That-
apparently everyone felt that way because I didn't date
Looking
anybody.
back, we met back then. That was our first meeting. You
Yeah.
probably didn't
I don't
recognize
remember.
me because
I was scared of
amongst all
girls.
the
I was scared of
Koreans.
girls at the time.
Huh?
I was scared of girls.
I mean,
so.
you didn't even look this way. 'Cause I was with a lot of like Koreans. I was with my people, you know.
So you guys weren't friends in high school, technically?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
But
no.
it was after college, you said? You came back?
during
college?
Yeah, during college. Yeah.
during a break.
beginning.
Beginning
No,
of
it was
college.
we were going off to college. I
Yes,
think.
yes, that's about what
And
it
you were
was.
gonna go to the East Coast.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was a Cali girl.
Yeah,
And I had a boyfriend too at the time.
yeah, and I had a girlfriend in New York.
Yeah.
And we had long
So it
distance.
was gonna never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
what you... Sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all.
We'll get to your
No, I don't
point
want to
of view
divulge
after.
too much
Yeah.
on episode
No, no.
one.
I know, it's a
You might have to
multi-episode.
invite me again.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So how was New York? And what'd you study?
New York was amazing. I started off as a film major. My dream was to be a director, writer, and then I got to spend a year in Paris as well.
Oh, nice.
'Cause it was like a study abroad program, so I lived out there, and we got to make films. That was an amazing experience. And then my mom passed away, and that kind of changed everything. And just everything was up in the air
Right.
at that point. And I took a year off, and I transferred school, and I switched my majors completely. And I became a history major because I thought I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay.
I was going to go to law school.
Okay.
Because that's what my parents wanted.
Right.
But then I was kind of working at law firms. And I was, getting ready for the LSATs, and I took them. And I think I got a decent score. But then I realized that's not what I want to do. So I came back to LA, and I had an opportunity to start my own business with a couple partners and friends. And we did that. It was kind of in the creative field.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to New York, living in New York was amazing. I was at the time when, I'm single, I didn't have any money. You need
Right,
money
yeah,
to
you
enjoy
need
New
money
York.
to
Yeah,
live in
I
New
know
York.
money. But
Yeah.
being a poor student can also be fun too.
True.
In New York. Yeah.
I know.
Here's your broom closet for $1,600 a month.
Dude, I was paying $800 for a room
In
where
Harlem, right?
I could fit a twin bed in there, but nothing
Yeah.
bigger because that was half the room.
Wow.
If you put anything bigger in there, the door would not open.
Wow.
Is
That
this
was-
your
that was
like
my room.
Harlem?
Damn.
Yeah, in Harlem.
apartment
I
in
lived in Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, on 125th Street.
Yeah.
No one came visited me because at school, you never went above 120th.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or it's danger.
Or it's
Is
danger.
it
Oh,
yeah.
danger zone?
It was.
Can't go.
Yeah, it was like
It was the real
gang
Harlem.
yeah, gang territory, and
I literally lived across the street from the projects.
oh wow.
Like, I look out my window, it's projects.
Okay.
And this was real Harlem right before it turned into Disneyland. You go to Harlem
Oh,
now, it's like, yeah, it's like the
Completely
Grove.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
it really?
it's crazy.
Yeah,
They
gentrification
redeveloped
and
it.
like
Oh, yeah.
urban redevelopment and
Yep.
all that kind
yep,
of stuff.
Yep. I remember when I was living there, Starbucks came in and they were like, it's over.
I know, end of the world.
It's
Like,
over.
oh my god.
It's over. Starbucks is here. And it was true. It was over.
Yeah, I
have
told
to
you
go
I'm
back.
gonna go to New York for the first time
Yes.
next month, so I'll
Yes.
definitely get some
Right.
Awesome.
advice on
Yeah.
places to go, what to do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I've been back many times. I usually go back twice a year now,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been back with the family. So definitely, if you have,
Yeah.
if you
Well,
need
right now, what are
information.
your like top 3 things to do in New York if you were to go and visit?
Oh my gosh, top 3 things.
Good question.
Train,
Okay, for
obviously.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at Henzo.
Yeah, okay.
I always make it a point. It's not cheap, but I always make it a point to go to Peter Luger Steakhouse in
Okay.
Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
have
So
to go.
good.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've never
So
been,
good.
but
I've
you know,
heard.
it's legendary.
It's legendary.
That place is legendary.
Yes.
And the
Alright.
hype is real,
Alright.
right?
Yes.
They live up
Real.
to the hype.
It is
Alright,
really
alright.
good.
Yeah.
And the service is
Noted.
good too.
It's services.
They're, like, very
it's-
fun.
It's an experience.
It's fun. Yeah, it's really fun.
It's not even the
So
best
must go.
steak you'll
Right.
ever
Check
have,
it out.
but
But
it's just
yeah, I
the
heard like
experience.
like
Yes.
the steak is pretty good, but then like all coupled with like the service, like very attentive, very
Yep.
like
And the drinks are
yeah, and the drinks
Yeah.
program I heard
Yeah.
is really great.
The building itself is like over 100 years old.
Right.
I think Eddie Huang on one of his videos said, it was kind of funny. Every other restaurant thinks they have the biggest.
Yeah.
Can you say it?
You could say it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Every other restaurant pretends and thinks they have the biggest dick. Peter Luger actually has. it.
That's it. Wow, interesting way to put it. Okay, all right, cool. I'll definitely try to check
You
that
said
place
that
out.
word?
Oh my god, he said the word. He said the word.
Kick the word of the day back here.
I need to go home.
So what else? Maybe
Okay,
like
Peter
2 more
Luger.
things or whatever.
God, I mean, last time I went, I actually rode a bike through the city, and that was the first time I ever did that because I
Okay.
actually don't like bikes. But it was fun. It was really good to see the city on that level because you're either always underground in the subway,
Right.
or just walking and
Yeah,
just trying to
yeah,
get
yeah.
to
Just
where
keeping
you
your
need to go.
eyes down.
Yeah, but when you're on a bike, I thought it was a really great way to see the city.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously the pizza places. You gotta
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
get pizza.
I'm
Joe's
excited.
Pizza.
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had pizza in like almost a year, just because I've
Really?
been
What?
Oh, just eating healthy.
trying to eat healthy. I haven't had In-N-Out since January, my last
Wow.
tournament. That's like my reward for competing,
wow.
and that's my favorite cheat meal. But anyway,
So
what do you?
that's the thing about New York. Your diet's gonna go out.
I
the
know,
window.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
so-
worth it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And there's some great restaurants. I can give you a list of
Okay,
stuff.
yeah, we'll talk. For
Definitely,
sure.
definitely.
He'll give you an
Alright.
Excel like sheet. Of
I
all-
have-
He's like super organized.
Oh,
like
for
he'll
sure.
give you like 5 pages. Yeah, like alphabetical order. Like,
I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So
You
what do you?
talk, you talk to this person, you do.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And he
This
will.
time.
He's so crazy.
Got me
You have to
covered.
do this handshake, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's like a tour guide.
I'm sorry, I kind of spit on this.
It's okay.
That's why we have
Sorry.
these.
Yeah, that's what these are for.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Washable.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So what do you do for work now?
For work, I'm in real estate. I'm a
Okay.
realtor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I saw like you did you were in like a BuzzFeed video.
Oh yes, you saw that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that.
Yeah.
Very proud of you.
Yeah, because I think I was like watching one of your vlogs, and then all of a sudden, like like the recommended thing came out, and there's like one like BuzzFeed thing. I was like, that's kind of weird. So I clicked on it, and like you and like your partner were like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I think it was like the part of like the Worth It series, and like you're showing
It
like,
was.
different houses,
Yeah,
at
it was on
different
Worth
price
It.
levels. Yeah.
Yes. So we were very lucky to do that. I can't believe it came out. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I have a partner named Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless plug. Our company's called Missing
Go
Nom.
for it.
Yeah, go for
This
it.
podcast is all
No
about
shame.
shilling.
Okay.
I know.
merchandise.
This show is,
Yeah.
yeah, half
Exactly.
the show is shameless plugs.
Awesome.
You know, Nocturnal Transmissions, Tuesday night, 8 p.m.
There you go. Missing Nom. Call us. So we got asked to join that because I guess they wanted to venture out away from like the food stuff,
Right,
to
right,
more
right.
lifestyle stuff, and they did one on houses. And it was called Worth It Houses, and they asked us to kind of show them properties.
Okay.
On 3 different tiers, and it was really cool. The third house we saw.
Oh, yeah.
You
It
know
was
what that was?
What?
Whose house that was? Do you guys know Russell Brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Russell Brand's house.
Really?
Not
Really?
Russell Brand. I'm sorry. Not Russell Brand.
Oh.
Hello.
Russell Peters.
Russell Peters,
Oh,
the
Russell
comedian.
Peters,
Yeah.
Oh,
Russell
okay,
Peters.
yeah.
That was his house.
Wow.
And he was supposed to be on it,
Uh-huh.
but then he double booked because he had to go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he does train. That's
Yeah.
right.
He was like, I'm so
Oh,
sorry, I have a
Yeah.
private lesson with Machado, my John Jock. I'm like, oh, I completely understand. Go.
That's
That was
cool.
cool.
Wow,
That's
wow.
very cool.
Very
Oh,
nice.
nice.
So you're also, as we mentioned, you're working on your own vlog and future podcast, right? Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah. So,
Your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of it more on Instagram. I started on Instagram, and I've always wanted to do a vlog, and I don't know what it was going to be about, but I just wanted to just start talking and eventually make it more about our family. But I wanted to warm myself up to it first, and it took like literally a year just to like get comfortable being on the camera. Like I would literally film myself and trash it. Film myself, trash it. It was so hard.
It is
It
weird seeing
is,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and you
It
guys do
is.
it all the time, so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It took us a while to get really comfortable with what we do here, and I know Andy gets tired of hearing my voice
I know.
on a weekly
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
do
I
it.
got
Yeah,
that
because we
good.
do the nocturnal transmissions live stream every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday night.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Yeah, we've been doing it for like over a year, and so like initially we were like a little bit stiff, but now it's just like we're like really relaxed and it's like I don't care.
Yeah, you have to get to that point.
Yeah, you have to get through that like that discomfort period.
Yes.
You just have to like smash through it, and then like
Yeah.
you're fine.
And I realize it taps into a part of the brain that's you don't really use all the time.
No, or
Yeah.
like we forget how to use because I
We
think
forget-
because you know as a child you kind of talk to yourself all the time like when you like kind of imagine and play like like Army or like Power Rangers or whatever and like so you're kind of used to talking that way
Oh,
you know
that's interesting. Yeah.
so like we kind of forget that as we get become adults
Uh-huh.
but so doing like vlogs and like doing this is kind of the same thing.
You're right. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I always talk to myself, just have
You still talk to
intelligent
yourself.
conversations.
Like,
So
it's like, well, it's like, yeah, I hear voices all the time.
I just don't listen to them all the time.
So what's your main objective with the channel? Like, is it about lifestyle, family?
Yeah,
anything?
so I don't know if I had like a mission with it.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to do it, but it's organically become something because it kind of timed with my I guess you want to call it transformation or a journey to become healthier, like take a new path.
Right.
I like to call it the good path. That's what I call it
Okay.
on the vlog.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And it's just about living a healthier lifestyle, a cleaner lifestyle, and it just kind of coincided with that. So slowly, I think it's kind of turning to that. And I just talk about, a lot of stuff like, my health and what do I do to stay healthy and be active. And the reason why is because we have two crazy kids that got to keep up with. And I just want to, stick around for them.
Right.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
A lot of the material has been about that lately. Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. NamFamBam on YouTube. A lot
Thank
of good
you.
stuff.
Thank you,
for
thank you,
sure.
thank you.
No, it's
I-
inspiring. It's
I was
good.
getting, in preparing for this week, I knew you guys were coming on, so
Yeah.
I got caught up on your videos,
Oh,
and I
thank you for
was
watching.
really, very inspiring stuff, and I,
Thank you. Thank you.
the idea of the good path, and it wasn't necessarily meant as a Christian message per se, but
Yeah.
that does kind of pertain to that. Obviously, the three of us, we're believers. We go to church all the time, and so it's just, but it's kind of a nice way where it's kind of inclusive to everybody.
Yeah,
It's like, hey,
yeah, it's good.
Not like kind of like, hey, get your life in order, but this is what I did. But there's steps that you can take. You don't have to be in the
Yeah.
doldrums all the time.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, so I was very inspired by it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I actually wanted to talk to you about your transformation. We'll go to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But let's get her story.
Oh, yeah,
now.
well-
My
One.
story isn't that interesting
Yeah, it is.
compared to.
So we're gonna get to your better half, by the
Yes,
way.
much better half. Much better
What
half.
is my story? Well, I immigrated here when I was like 9 years old from Korea.
Represent.
Yeah. And
motherland.
we were like, we didn't have any money. We were broke, very poor, wanted a better opportunity, so that's why we came. We lived in Van Nuys. That was like where we started. And I started 3rd grade here, and it was really rough. I was bullied because I was like the only Korean or Asian kid in that area. Not a lot of white people. It was all Hispanics, black people. So it was a little bit rough, but I assimilated over time and had a great
become a chola?
childhood. A little bit. I did have an episode. I did. No eyebrows.
You had
fade, coffee
Sharpie eyebrows. Sharpie eyebrows.
bean. Yeah, I did have coffee bean lipstick. Yeah, I did have that stage.
ball
And
and
baggy
jelly.
jeans. Yeah,
You listen to the Smiths.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister.
Younger
It's the
sister,
two
okay.
of us. Yeah.
And did you? Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a
Yes.
younger sister as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Yes.
So were you in ESL growing up?
I was.
Yeah?
I was until like I think it was like 5th grade, and then I spoke English perfectly, so I came out.
Yeah, it must
or
have been tough.
graduated, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but I think it just made me stronger. It made me who I am today.
Yeah,
you know, so it was a good thing. It
Yeah,
was a
that's good. So you went to Granada Hills?
Yes,
Okay,
for high
Granada.
school. Yeah, I went to Patrick Henry for junior high. I'm a Valley girl. And then I went to Granada.
How was Granada?
Granada was awesome. Yeah.
90s, right?
90s.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a little sketchy at times, but it was overall good.
Yeah, back then that's when like there were so many gangs.
Gangsters,
Yeah.
yeah. There was
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of Asian gangs,
Asian
like
boys.
the
Yeah,
Soul
yes,
Boys
yes,
or-
yes.
The
Soul
Wingsters.
Boys. Oh my
Yes.
I actually
yes.
knew a few people in Soul Boys. Like they're like my heroes.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay. Yes, I'm familiar.
Everyone
with
knows
those
each other in the valley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What high school did you go to,
I
Andy?
went to Chatsworth.
What? I went to Chatsworth. Well, I ended up at Chatsworth.
I mean, I graduated in 2002, so.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
there. I graduated in '98, so.
Okay. Oh,
right
then
when
you
I
were
left.
probably my cousin's year,
Who's your cousin?
Danny Chung.
Danny Chung. I don't.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe if you saw him, you'd recognize
Maybe I see.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't that cool, so.
I thought you were cool
that's-
when you went to China.
So
Definitely.
I think I was in 9th grade in '98. Or no, wait. You graduated in '98.
'98. Yeah.
Okay. Well then he was a junior then.
Oh, okay.
Because when I got into Chatsworth in '99, that was in 9th grade.
Oh, so right
And
when I left.
Yeah, and then my cousin became a senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm gonna be 34 next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow. Lucky
Less than a month.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you guys are free, I know you guys are busy, but come out and party with us for this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how was your high school experience?
High school experience was good. I was like member of like student council, but got bad grades. I was a little bit odd, nerdy, but cool at the
I saw
same
your
time.
pictures. You were not nerdy.
I mean, cute nerd, no? I mean, I wasn't a bad girl. I mean, I came home every day, was in student council. I mean, I didn't smoke.
Well,
I didn't
coming
do
home at
drugs.
4 a.m. doesn't count.
I didn't come home at 4 a.m.
But I came home.
At least I came home.
So you hung out with Korean people?
I
mainly?
did,
Okay.
but I was very open to. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I had non-Korean friends, friends as well.
Okay. Yeah, it was different for
Yeah.
me. I went to Calabasas, so it was all like white people and.
Okay.
But most of my friends like went to El Camino anyway. I went to El
El
Camino's
Camino.
prom because I hated my high school. I didn't like Calabasas, but
Oh.
yeah, I mean, I love college though, so like it made up for it. But
Yeah.
where did you go to school?
Well, I went to USC for my undergrad, got my nursing degree there,
Mm. Okay.
and then I went to grad school at UCLA.
UCLA.
They gave me a little kickback because I do work for them.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's the reason.
Okay.
But I'm a Trojan at heart.
All right.
Fight on.
Fight on.
My sister went to USC.
It's
Oh,
a very
nice.
good school.
Expensive
I-
though, yeah. I mean,
They gave me a kickback,
Oh, yeah,
They did.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
that's
So
cool.
that was fun. Yeah.
So then, how did your point of view?
Of how we
yeah,
met.
yeah.
Oh yeah, your version of the story.
I mean, we met at a party. That was the first time we ever met.
Yes,
Right?
I
mean,
remember that party.
other than Granada Hills High School.
That he doesn't remember.
I remember
try to
clear.
forget.
That's the funniest thing I do remember. Like, it's crazy.
So how old were you at that party? Like both of you?
I think we were like 19 or
19?
20
Oh,
or
okay,
something
okay,
like
okay.
Right
that.
after high school.
Yeah.
right after.
And then he had like this. It was Abercrombie time, so he had like Abercrombie shirt and like. I remember you
remember
had
that,
this
I
like.
remember that,
Yeah,
yeah.
you had like the spiky like pretty boy hair and like very opposite
trying.
of who he is
I
today.
was trying really
Very
hard.
opposite of
Yeah.
who he is today. And like you had this like leather strap, which I thought that was so stylistically like unusual for a
A
Korean
leather
guy.
strap?
Yeah, like
Oh,
you
like
had
the
this like
cuff?
bracelet.
cuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
cuff, I guess. Yeah. And I was like,
Other strap sounds really weird.
I know. I was like, yeah, totally different connotations going on in my mind. It's like,
I didn't know he was in S&M at that time.
it's hot in here.
They called me the Gimp.
Oh, Pulp Fiction. Favorite all-time movie. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's when we met, and
That's
I
when
thought
we
he
met.
was very attractive. I thought you were well spoken and very
Okay.
intelligent.
Okay.
But I had my boyfriend next to me. I was like, okay. Well,
Sorry, bro.
okay. Yeah,
I don't know.
sorry,
I forget
bro.
what your name was, but I'm sorry.
it's like it don't matter because
We were
you
19.
are where he was.
I'm 19. I'm allowed to date. Yes.
Thanks for warming up the seat for me.
And didn't you
Exactly.
think I was cute too? Like
I
we
did.
talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we turn up the AC, by the way?
Yeah.
Or turn
I'm,
it down,
I'm a
yeah.
little hot.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Is it just me?
Oh,
Because
it's
I'm
getting
drinking.
warm. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I normally sweat, so it's kind of hard to
I was in the
gauge.
Navy. I just suffer.
You were in the Navy.
You're in the
Yeah.
Navy?
Woo.
Oh, awesome.
Really?
I was in there for
Is this
4
happy
years,
with
4.5
the
years.
front
What years?
04 to
Doesn't
08.
matter.
So that's active duty, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
It's up to you.
So I went to I started off at Camp Pendleton.
Uh-huh.
I was there for about 2.5 years. I worked
Wow.
at a medical training command,
Yeah.
and then I got stationed at Coronado Bay at a helicopter squadron.
That's where the Navy SEALs train too, right?
Yeah.
Were you a SEAL?
No.
Oh.
God no. I would make it maybe about an hour. Those guys are intense, man. Like
Intense, yeah.
but yeah, no, I
Thank you.
was in the Navy for a
Okay.
while, so I
Oh.
just learned to suffer
Awesome.
through
Am
stuff.
I red?
That's awesome.
No.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
usually don't talk about it that much, but
No,
that's
that's very cool. There's a secret small part of me that wishes or hopes that one of the boys go into the Navy.
Please don't say
I know
that.
she
I'm
hates
gonna
that.
worry
Every time I
day.
talk about it, she.
Please don't.
I would say if you are going to go into if they are going to go into military
Mm-hmm.
service, Air Force or the Navy are a good bet. You're because they seem real intelligent, real smart.
Thank you.
That's the place to go for if you don't want to be a jarhead. You don't want to go to the Marines
Right.
because
My daddy was a Marine.
he's a jarhead. Sorry, we've talked about his steak endeavors. He's a jarhead.
Okay, all right. Pump your brakes. Pump
So
your brakes.
the Army is kind of the same thing, and
Yeah.
they're more on the front lines.
Uh-huh.
But there's so many jobs within the Navy and Air Force where
Yeah.
you can be stationed kind of wherever you want to be,
Yeah.
but you're not necessarily in the danger zone per se.
Right.
Especially the
You're not
Navy.
in the highway
yeah.
to the danger zone.
I knew you. I was hoping someone would go there.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, I found like my job. I was a yeoman in the Navy, and
What's a
What's
yo-
a yeoman? I don't know.
what?
Like, yo, man.
Yeah, no. So essentially, what we did is I made sure that people's pay got taken care of,
Ah.
that their service records were taken care
Oh.
of, they had all their awards and
Uh-huh.
everything kind of in order. So that would help them advancement, exam time.
Yeah.
And I also dealt with a lot of message traffic between commands. So if our commanding officer, hey, I want to send this message over to such command over there.
Uh-huh.
Can you make sure that gets delivered? So that was kind of my job.
That's cool.
And it's not
That's very
necessarily a dangerous job.
Right.
I mean, there always is an element of danger in any job per se, but if you're on a ship, yeah, there's always danger there.
Right,
But yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but
cool.
it wasn't necessarily dangerous per se.
Right. And we were just in San Diego
We
2
were.
weeks ago,
Yes.
and we love going
We
there.
passed
And
by.
like they're Grayson especially, he's obsessed with World War II.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He
And
loves
the
military
ar-
history.
yes.
He loves the Air
wow.
Force.
That's right. I
Done
saw your
extensive-
pictures of you down there.
So we
That's-
always go to the Midway good museums, and we drive through Coronado.
Yeah.
And this time around, I went by myself because I wake up early. But I went and went to Coronado Island, and I heard once in a while, if you're lucky, you can catch the SEALs training on the beach there.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I went, but then they weren't there this time around. But one day, hopefully, we'll catch them. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
They those guys are intense, man.
that's
But yeah, there's so many different things that you can do in the Navy where you can use your head. And I always say like don't go into the military to be an infantryman because once eventually you're gonna get out, and if you're just shooting a gun and not that those are bad things.
Right.
I like shooting guns.
yeah.
Sure.
But if that's all your skill is, that's not useful out in the real world.
Interesting, yeah.
So I always say go in, get a skill. Do something that you can take out of the Navy, because you're not necessarily going to be there for 20 years.
Right.
You know, because I got to a point where it's like, oh, maybe this is something I could do for a career. But then 5 years into it, I was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
So if you can go in and take a skill out, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of different engineering stuff. A lot of my friends were corpsmen, so which is kind of a dangerous position, because you go with the Marines,
Yeah.
where they're medics and stuff. So
Ooh, that's
That's
exciting.
yeah,
Medic.
some of my friends didn't come back, or they didn't come back right in the head.
Oh.
That's
But
awesome.
like the ones that did come back, now they're in nursing, or they're becoming doctors.
That's great.
I kept getting, they kept trying to push me to become like a nuclear technician on one of the submarines, because I got my test scores were really high.
Yeah.
And so they're struggling for people, and so they try to push me to that. I was like, I'm not living on a submarine. But that's something you can do too. You can learn engineering and learn about nuclear technology, all that stuff, and you can take that out into the real world, and like you kind of have a head start on someone in college, because you have all the practical.
Because you can
experience.
actually apply the
Exactly.
skills. Yeah. My grandfather was a naval. You know the story. My grandfather, on my mom's side, was a naval engineer for the Korean government, but he worked with the American forces. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I
anyway.
respect
yeah.
it.
A lot of options.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
very
good.
cool. That's
Yes.
much
Yeah.
respect to that.
Yes. Thank you for your service. The military.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so don't fear, because my mom was the same way.
I would fear every single day.
Oh yeah, my
I'll
mom
worry
was
sick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my little fantasy. I mean, this is corner of my brain.
It's a sick fantasy. Don't
Why
dream
is that?
about
That'd
it.
be amazing. That'd
No.
be amazing.
Well,
We'll
seriously,
see. We'll
I was
see.
the only child too, so like my mom was freaked out for.
You're like golden
Yeah.
child to her.
Sorry, Sarah, we cut you off.
I
You were-
don't know. You always cut me off. What else is
Where were we? On
I
how?
don't know.
How you guys
See,
met?
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
yeah,
met
yeah.
at the party, and then we parted ways because you had to go study.
I was in New
So
York, yeah.
when did you actually ask her out?
Oh,
Oh, so I had finally moved back from New York.
yeah.
This is my version. I moved back from New York, and
I'll correct it.
It's already wrong.
and we were mentioning earlier about long-term relationships we were both in at the time.
Right.
I
Very
had a
long,
girlfriend in New
yeah.
York, and she had a boyfriend here. And coincidentally, we ended up breaking up in our respective relationships
I broke
at the
up
same
first.
time. You broke up first.
Noted for the record.
Not because you were
the
back.
record,
Not
for the
because you were
record.
back there.
For the record.
So for the record, I broke up with my boyfriend.
And for the record, that had no influence on my breakup with my respective girlfriend at the time. Maybe a little bit. Maybe it expedited the process a little bit.
Right. It's like the window is open.
The window's open, yeah.
You're gone.
You're gone. So, yeah, so I broke up. We broke up. And literally right after that, we started hanging out. And I was, at the time, I was working on the business that I talked about with my friend. And at the same time, I was taking like photo classes.
yeah, photography.
Yeah, and then
101.
I came up with this idea like I need a model.
Yeah.
Do you want a model for me?
Oh,
And
okay.
that
Oh
was
my
my
God.
that was
my
pitch.
go-to move.
Yeah.
That's my go-to move.
Yes, dude.
Works.
No, because
It works,
yes,
right?
yes, because
It works.
it
so
works.
hard.
It works so well.
Dude, I was like, I got this locked in.
So she modeled for you.
She modeled,
You
yeah.
still have those original pictures?
Oh yeah. On film. And that was when we
Oh yeah,
filmed
back
Oh.
in film.
I think
Yes,
I
I
might
love
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
So
Cool.
and then
You're
I
okay.
it was only one project, but I said it was like 3 or 4 projects.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. It's like no, we have to do another
No, we
project.
got- yeah, there's another project. I would love if you would model for me.
I think it was only one project.
No, it was only
It
one.
was only
project.
one.
I know, but he lied
I
and
was
said that
like-
there are more projects.
And I said no. Didn't
No?
I said no.
If you had said no, we wouldn't be here sitting here today.
No, we were no.
No.
Or someone
And-
else
oh,
would be sitting here.
But then, when we were kind of starting to date, I asked her. I think let's go to the beach or something like that. Let's just go hang out. And she packed these tuna fish sandwiches. And that's when she got me. I was like, holy shit, these are the best freaking tuna fish sandwiches I've ever
When
had.
his heart is
Yeah,
defeated.
that's when
Yeah,
she
yeah,
won me.
yeah.
I was like, dude,
That's what they say.
this is the one.
All right.
Yeah.
It was ketchup.
I know, she told me the secret sauce was ketchup. I was like, damn.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Everyone
I don't
has a
remember
story.
that. Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah.
Any corrections, Sarah, that you want to offer?
I don't remember the tuna
Any
sandwich
errors and omissions?
story. I think that's okay. That's pretty accurate. I
Yeah.
think we just hung out a lot and we spoke
We started
a lot.
hanging out a lot that time.
I used to live in the ghetto, like Hobart Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to college,
Uh-huh.
and we had like the balcony, and we would always sit up there and talk. We talked a lot, and we had
Oh, yeah,
wine
yeah,
and
yeah,
cheese.
yeah.
It was
I
like
do.
constant
Ooh,
talking.
wine and cheese.
Yeah.
It was kind of romantic up there. We didn't have any money, you know.
Right.
You know, it was a very ghetto apartment. But
You
we
made
had
it
this-
happen, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, you were sharing with your sister,
Yes.
and it was
yes.
not. It was like a studio.
It was like a
Oh, wow.
It didn't
Okay.
even have a bedroom.
No. It was
Yeah.
like
yeah.
But
the whole place was 2 beds.
But the roof was excellent.
The roof
You
was
you had the great view of LA.
Crappy apartment, excellent view.
Hey, there's a trade-off.
Exactly.
It's a view with the room.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's talk about your transformation now, because I've seen bits and pieces on your
Oh.
YouTube channel, and I think that's always inspiring. I've seen maybe a couple that you posted, like the before pictures.
Oh yeah.
And after, so man, looking good, and
Thank
I
you.
know you have a pretty rigorous routine. I don't know how you do it with work and kids and waking up that early, but yeah, just tell us about the transformation. Like, what were you like before, and what was
Yeah.
your lifestyle like before, and what inspired you to change?
My lifestyle before was basically I don't give a shit. It was just right around when we got married, which
Yeah.
was we got married in 2009.
Yes.
So right around that time, I just started just kind of letting go. I'm married. I don't care. I'm just gonna eat this. Give me a hot dog, steak. I'll have a beer. Wash it down with whiskey, whatever. And that was every single night. Work out. Yeah, right. I just did not care. And it got pretty bad. And about 5 years ago, we get annual checkups, and I got my annual checkup. And by that time, I was already diagnosed with high blood pressure. It was genetic, but I couldn't lean on that too much because it was really because I was a fat ass. I was huge. And 5 years ago, I peaked at 212 pounds.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
wow.
Oof.
My height, I'm like
Right.
5'7" on a good day. So I'm really 5'6", So 212 pounds, I was like, I think the body mass index said I was morbidly obese. I think that was the technical term.
Right.
And my doctor did the blood work and came back to me and said, your blood pressure is really high. So you're already on medication. But not only that, now you're almost pre-diabetic. Your cholesterol is off the charts. Everything is just climbing. And I'm not gonna say you're gonna be dead by the time you're 40, but you'll be on every medication under the
Hey,
sun
it was that bad.
just
Right.
to stay alive.
Right.
I was like, so what do you want to do about this? And that's when it clicked. And first of all, the only thing I can control was my diet. So I really changed my diet and tried to eat healthier. And over a period of maybe 3 or 4 years, I ended up losing 40 pounds. So I dropped down to about the 170, 175 range. And that was great. I was really proud of that. I was happy. I felt better, but it just still wasn't enough. I felt like I need to do more,
Right.
especially with the kids getting older.
Uh-huh.
I have to be more active. And so last year, my biggest excuse for not working out was I have no time.
Right.
It's so busy. Life is so busy. So in my mind, it just clicked that I can create more time. I just have to shift the scale a little bit.
Right.
The window of when I go to sleep, I just moved it over a couple hours.
Right.
So instead of waking up at the normal 6 or 7 a.m., I started waking up initially at 4 to 4:30.
Right,
And I
okay.
started doing that for a couple months. And that allowed me 2 hours in the morning to go work out, and then got into jiu-jitsu. Got back into jiu-jitsu because I had tried it a year before. Didn't work out.
Wait, when did you first try it?
Last year.
At
maybe,
Northridge?
At Northridge.
Oh, and then
yeah.
you quit for a bit.
I quit for a year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
I only did it for a month or two.
Yeah.
and I was out of shape and I just couldn't do
Okay.
it.
So going back really quick,
yeah,
so
yeah.
You said that when I don't know, when you were really out of shape and,
Uh-huh.
and eating like crap, you said it was right after you're married, 2009.
Right around then.
How
yeah.
how old were you? I just wanted to get
28,
that right.
29.
28, 29.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that lasted for how many years again? That
It
lifestyle?
went till about 4 years ago, until about 2014 or 15.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So you just you didn't care about exercise or
I
any
didn't
of that?
think about
even
it.
like
But at the
when
same
you
time,
notice yourself gaining weight?
I didn't see myself as fat. That's the thing. I was like, I'm me. I don't care.
Right,
Dude,
yeah.
I'm me. I'm gonna do me.
Sarah, were you concerned? I'm curious. No, I'm seriously curious.
Don't ask me. We don't want to fight. No, I did notice. I was like, this guy's getting way too comfortable. Yeah. I
That's
mean,
pretty cool.
definitely, I think it was the truncal obesity, right?
Which means a belly. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, in layman's terms. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a nurse, so.
Yeah. That's
But
that.
yeah, I was concerned. Yeah, I mean, it's such a young age to be diagnosed with hypertension. You know,
Yeah.
I know the ramifications of
Yeah.
being sick.
Yeah, you're a nurse, and
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
so when you would encourage, I assume you'd encourage him to exercise, but you just. Didn't
But
feel
I
like
was
it.
sedentary too, so
Okay.
I mean, I think that didn't help. I wasn't active either, so I
Yeah.
think
You were not overweight or anything, but you
I
were not
wasn't-
in shape.
I was never overweight,
Yeah.
but you know, I could have been more healthier
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. So we kind of fed together. Like
Okay.
we, you know,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
indulged a lot
Yeah,
together,
yeah, yeah.
and it's a fun
So-
thing to do before kids.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say that you guys were both kind of like enabling each other.
In a way, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
At the time,
drank a
we
lot.
drank a lot. I
Yeah.
think drinking is a big factor.
Yes.
You know, it just kind of
Absolutely.
the velocity of that cycle, that
Right.
vicious cycle, is perpetuated by the drinking.
Right.
You know? And that's something about 4 months ago. For 4 months, the past 4 months, I stopped drinking, not because of health reasons, but it was just getting in the way of everything. If I drank too much, and I wouldn't be able to wake up at 3. You know, and go to work out. It was just so
You feel
annoying.
cruddy
It would
the
just,
next
you know,
day. Yeah.
it just ruins everything.
Yeah.
So I had stopped drinking for about 4 months, and lately I've been slowly getting, you know, special occasions or occasions like this, I'll have a couple beers.
Sure.
Moderation is fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
very moderate.
I think Oscar Wilde said,
Yeah.
moderation. No, what is it?
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Including moderation.
Including moderation. Thank you, Andy. Yes.
He's
I
always
that.
like fixing my butcher.
I know. Yeah, Rob was like constantly like misquoting people or like just saying it wrong. I'm just like that's.
I noticed you're really good at that. That's why it's
I know. My head is filled with useless information that now I can now use for situations like this.
Of course. Thank you.
Did you read a lot?
Thank you.
No, I just watched a lot of TV.
Hey, what was your Magna Carta line?
Whoa, what was that?
Oh my God, that was
Oh
so
man. Oh man. It was during a podcast, right?
funny. Something like that. You're like, I don't know who wrote the
Oh
Magna
right,
Carta,
yeah,
but-
yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know what was said on the written on the Magna Carta, but I know the theme song to Scooby Doo or something like that,
Something like that. Anyway, it's good though,
Nice.
So yeah, so you started eating healthier, and then you got into jiu-jitsu.
Then, so about a year ago, that's when like the final push came, and I ended up losing. It's not about the weight either,
Yeah,
but like if
yeah.
we want to use that as a measurement, I lost 25 more pounds, but then I got really like just healthier. Everything about lifestyle was healthier.
Yeah.
Now I wake up at my alarm's set for 3:17 a.m. every day, and I usually wake up around then, or sometimes I wake up a little later, like 3:30 or something. I'll hit the snooze a couple times,
Right.
and then I hit the gym. And then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, I hit the gym and then go to jiu-jitsu.
Oh my God.
And then on the weekends, I'll go surfing, and just try to stay active. Fridays, we've been going to boxing.
That's been really fun.
Yeah, and it just when you're on that path, that becomes addictive, and that becomes a cycle. And it doesn't end up being hard work. There are days where I'm
It's
just like,
enjoyable.
I don't want to be here at the gym, but then you just do it. You just get it done.
It's a lifestyle,
is,
for
it
sure.
is,
And
it
the
is
thing
for
is,
sure.
it's like
is lifestyle.
when you're in that like the low point, when you are eating a lot and drinking and not caring, it's a downward spiral, and you just
Yeah.
get more and more comfortable. But then when it's the opposite, I mean, I've been active almost my whole life, and I love it. Ever since even when I was like 19, UC Santa Barbara, running like 5 miles a day.
That's amazing.
Going to the gym,
That's
this and
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Like I just kept it up, and especially with jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu has been like one of the best things for me, and
That's awesome.
for you guys too. It's a lifestyle. But yeah, I mean, I always tell people whatever motivates you, because going to the gym is just boring. That's why I got into jiu-jitsu. I just got sick of just lifting weights and jogging and all that. But jiu-jitsu, you learn a skill, you learn combat, you learn self-defense, and yeah, it's great. Great. This guy's been more active lately too. He hated
Yeah.
exercise, but now he's been
Yeah.
swimming, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because kind of similarly to you, like, I just got way too comfortable with myself, and I was like, I looked in the mirror, I was like, I didn't hate what I saw. and well, an opportunity presented itself to like start exercising, and so I did, and then I just kept it up, and so
That's awesome.
I lost like 6-7 pounds, and like I think I gained some like muscle mass. And
great.
like my habits have gotten a lot better. Like I'm sleeping like earlier, like 'cause before, like when you wake up, I'd be like going to sleep. Like
I was like that too.
at 3
I'm a
o'clock,
night owl. I'm a night
3:30.
Oh yeah, I used to
And
be
so
like that.
so like now like I definitely feel like I have more energy, and
Definitely.
and I'm not I'm just like just like I'm starting to feel like feel better. Like I'm noticing like my chest has gotten like flatter. I'm able to start seeing like I'm actually getting like pecs like you see
I was gonna say, Andy, your
Getting
pecs look
your-
phenomenal.
You're getting your sexy back. Yes.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Awesome.
Once you start to see results, that's just gonna like fuel you to
Right.
more and
Sure.
more and more.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
love it. So
Yeah.
your routine is that seems pretty intense, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm a night owl. I think you are too. Like getting up early, it's so tough. But 3:17, that's
3:17.
crazy.
I don't know
man.
why I picked that number.
Yeah, so run it by again. So you get up at 3:17, and you did this. You showed it on your YouTube. That I remember one of the episodes. So
Oh, yeah,
you have a shake, you eat an egg,
Yeah,
you get
yes.
coffee, and then
Yeah, so I'll wake up and then do my routine, go to the bathroom. That's when I wake her up.
Very annoying. And
Yeah.
and he gags every time he like brushes his teeth. He's like always gagging. He's like, I don't
opposite gag, dude.
understand
Is
it.
it-
You're a grown man.
When
I
you
don't- I don't-
do you brush your tongue?
Yeah, brush my tongue.
and then it's like, and then that wakes me up.
Yeah.
I get like
I try not
so
to, but
disgusted.
I know, like, I'm, like, very-
every day.
I try to be careful and just go like, and then I go a little bit too far back. Like,
It's like so obnoxious. That's not what I want to hear at 3 a.m. in the morning.
maybe
You know
that's
what I
something you
mean?
could work on. You could work on that.
I'll work on that.
Please.
Yeah, so I do that. I wake up, and then I'll usually try to eat a breakfast of boiled eggs. Work on that, and then try to knock out some emails for work.
Right.
I have clients in New York, so like a lot of times I
Oh,
already
right,
have
yeah.
texts that they've sent, and I can respond.
oh, so it
to them
kind of
anyway.
does make sense that you wake up at 3 because like
Yeah, I have
'cause-
work to do.
Yeah, and you're on like East Coast time, so like
For
that's
some
there-
clients,
yeah.
I am. Yeah. So I do that, and then I love it because the Starbucks normally opens at 5, but the one in our neighborhood happens to open at 4:30.
Oh wow.
Even though it says 5, they secretly open at 4:30.
Right.
And so I always get there at 4:30.
Oh my god.
They literally like know me. Like they have my drink made and my order punched into the register before I walk in.
Right.
And if I don't show up, they freak out.
It's like, oh my god, missing person. 911.
Is everything okay, Eric? And then I do that, and then the gym also opens at 4:30, so I get to the gym around 4:40, 4:45. Work out for 2 hours, and then come home. And then by that time, the kids are getting up, and then I take Grayson to school, and Sarah takes Gus to school. Yeah.
You go to Starbucks one more time.
I do go to Starbucks
For
one more
me.
time
Oh
for
my
her.
gosh.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
buys me
So-
Starbucks coffee every morning.
Yeah.
Isn't that very
Expensive.
sweet?
It adds up, right?
Yeah.
$5
I
coffee.
mean,
I know,
happy
right?
wife equals happy.
Yeah, it is
life,
not
you
cheap,
know.
but then there's some perks because they kind of know me there, so they'll
Okay.
hook up.
They
They
with
hook
me.
you
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Oh,
Now they have the Nitro Brew card, so
yeah. True. True.
Dang. So like, how many days a week do you work out? Or you try
that
to work
routine
out?
is Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then Saturday mornings, I try to go surfing in the morning.
Very
And
cool.
then Sundays, if they have the 9 a.m. class, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So
Really good.
So what like what time are you finished with work typically?
with work, work is weird because
You're on your own schedule.
I'm on my own
That's
schedule.
cool. That's the
So I call it like kind of my day just kind of bleeds into each other. So as soon as I drop off the kids, I have to pack in all my meetings nowadays before 2 o'clock. So I pack like all my meetings before then. So that means I have to drive around a lot. A lot of times I'm on the west side and then go to like Los Feliz, Silver Lake, and then come back to the valley all in the same day. I have to do all that, and then after that, pick up the kid, and then we go to jiu-jitsu, and there I'm working all the time on the computer, and I come home and finish up work.
That is wow. That's really intense. It's very rigorous. So my question is, man, don't you get exhausted by like 2 p.m.?
I do. Before all this, I never took naps because if I took a nap, I couldn't wake up.
Right.
But I see the value of naps now. Now, a couple times a week, I will take a 20-minute power nap, and I
Okay.
see how beneficial that is.
Right.
And I feel so much more energized after that because I feel like like you said, around 2 p.m., I feel that kind of
The crash.
the crash.
Crash.
So I just close my eyes for 20 minutes. I set my alarm, and 20 minutes, literally just 20 minutes, and then I wake up and I feel brand new.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see the benefits of
I wish
naps.
America would embrace the siesta like they do in like Europe.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know, that'd be so beneficial for everybody.
Everybody,
Yeah.
just take a break.
Yeah, just take like a 1 hour break. You know,
Yes.
just do
Everyone shuts down.
everyone sits down. Everyone
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
a chance to like recharge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that would be
Wow.
ideal.
Well, I give you props. That's pretty awesome. I'm sure
Thank
that'll
you.
inspire a lot of people. I was inspired when I saw that too. You know,
Thank
and
you.
all your
Thank you.
posts. So,
Thank
you know, like maybe I should start waking up a little early too.
No, dude. I'm just catching
But,
up to you, dude.
No. So yeah, no. Speaking of jiu-jitsu, so you said your kids started first Grayson, right?
Yes.
How were they interested in jiu-jitsu? What
Oh,
made
yeah.
them want to get into it?
Oh, it wasn't them.
It wasn't them. It was
Eric.
yeah, and I stumbled upon it. I
Yeah.
didn't.
You stumbled- okay.
I had an idea of what jiu-jitsu was because of UFC and all
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
I was never really that into UFC. I was looking for a judo gym because I thought
Okay.
judo might be good. We tried taekwondo, we tried
Yeah,
karate, and
yeah.
it didn't fit. He didn't like it, and I don't think I liked it either. But then I literally Yelped it, and I found Gracie Baja on Yelp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know the name Gracie Baja.
Right.
And it had great reviews, so we just literally walked in. And I didn't think he was going to like it, but as literally the moment he got on the mat, he loved it.
Oh wow.
It's like me, yeah.
Yeah, he
it's like
loved
all
it. I
of
was
us,
like-
right? Yeah.
And I was like, and when he
Wow.
walked off the mat, I was like, did you like it? He's like, I love it. I want to do it.
That is
that was it.
amazing.
That's
That's
yeah,
awesome.
the rest is history.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be beasts when they grow up.
I hope
Can you
so.
imagine
hope
starting
so.
jiu-jitsu when you were that young? Oh my
God,
gosh.
I wish.
These days it's crazy. You have these little like 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and then when they get to like 16, 17, they're gonna
Yeah.
the absolute killers, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then you got into it, as
I
you
got
were
into
saying
it after
before.
that. Yep. I
Okay.
got into it after that, and then Sarah got into it.
That is so wow.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then-
family, whole family.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole family.
And Sarah's been training hard.
Yeah, she has. I give her props, man.
Yeah?
It's fun.
I rolled with her
It's
this
fun.
morning. I was like, every time I roll with her, you know, when we roll with girls, we don't go
Yeah.
like 100%, or we try
Right.
not to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna go 60, whatever. And then she just goes. So I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta go to 100. So,
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to every time like we're able to roll after class.
Yeah.
Giving her some pointers, and you know,
Oh,
I
thank
got,
you
I
for
got
that. She
yeah,
tells me
for
you
sure.
always help her
of
out,
course,
so
it's fun.
thank you for that.
She has a good attitude, and it's fun. But yeah, no, I remember when I very first met her, maybe like 2 years ago or something like that, our old location.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Her and Tina, right? And
yeah.
yeah, I remember she was like, "Yeah, go easy. I'm a beginner," and of course I'd go easy and stuff. But then, yeah, throughout the years, yeah, I noticed she's lost a lot of weight. She's gotten in shape, and
Yeah.
and she got better, man. It was
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
And I'm just trying to teach her some good fundamentals. But it's funny since you mentioned 60%. It's like when I roll with her, obviously, you know, I go light too, and I never hurt anyone. Well, not intentionally,
Yeah,
especially if I roll with girls. It's all technical, but I would go like kind of like 60%, and then she would just be like, "Oh," and I'm like, "I'm going 60%." She goes, "Can you go 40?" I'm laughing, but it's fun, you know, just giving her a good workout, giving her
That's
some
awesome.
tips, and one day we have to roll. We haven't even rolled yet.
We haven't rolled
Because you
yet.
do that 6 a.m., you know, that early morning
Yeah,
stuff. I do the
yeah.
6 p.m. You know, seriously, 6:15 p.m. But yeah, no, one day I will drop by again 6 a.m. Larry, if you're watching, I'll drop by. Yeah, I've been there like twice. Yeah, no,
awesome.
it's
That would
good.
be
It's
awesome.
good. Yeah, I'll have to wake up.
No, and I said it before, but congratulations again.
Thank you.
Professor,
Yeah,
Professor,
for
that's,
sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's so
been a
inspiring.
long road. Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
inspiring.
You just got to stick with it. It's you know, I think most people quit when they're by the time they hit blue belt or even before.
Yeah.
To each their own, but yeah, I want to like ask you about your own jiu-jitsu experience. How are you enjoying it? What do you like about it? What do you gain from it? What do you not like about it? What are your goals from it?
Oh, I love it. It's when I first did it, like I understood that it was addictive, but I got really into it as sort of a concept and sort of a fan because we would watch all the videos and stuff. But when I started doing it this time around, and I started getting back to it in February, and it's a testament to Professor Larry too. He's such an
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
he
he is,
creates
he is.
such a nice environment,
Yeah.
and there's a sense of camaraderie there. But that's just an added bonus to the fact that it literally is addictive. Something about it because it exercises not just the body but the mind so much
Exactly.
that I'm like driving to work to my meetings thinking about jiu-jitsu, you know?
am too.
Thinking about what the roles I did and like how I can change it and what I need to do to progress and when they say it's hey Gus. When they say it's like a human puzzle, it
Human
literally
chess,
is.
right?
A human
Yeah.
chess. That it's literally like trying to solve that puzzle. But more than that, the more I'm learning about it and getting into it and really like applying stuff, I can see that it does reflect life in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Challenges in life that you face.
definitely.
The patterns of life, the flow of life. One of the hashtags I always use, and I use it for my vlogs and also my real estate business
Right.
with Phil, it's hashtag keep moving. Keep moving for real estate because it makes sense. We want our clients to keep moving so we can continue making money. So that's kind of a joke. But
Yeah, that's funny.
but in life, I always felt like, nowadays I'm learning more and more. You got to keep moving whatever you do. Whether it's business, you got to keep moving and things happen. If
Right,
you stop
yeah.
moving, you die. But in jiu-jitsu, I'm learning more and more. You have to keep moving, especially when you're in a bad position. If you stop moving, it's over, right? Like, you have to keep moving,
Yeah.
keep trying.
Keep
don't give
advancing.
up, keep
Obviously, there's
advancing.
timing, okay?
Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
But still, yeah, you have
Yeah.
to keep advancing.
Keep advancing, yeah. And so I think that's jiu-jitsu is something that more so than anything else I've ever done, that it reflects life in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Definitely,
I think that's
man.
a beautiful thing.
For sure. I did this whole little interview with my friend about why I train jiu-jitsu, and I was saying the exact same thing. I think all of us, we're all on the same
yeah.
wavelength, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these guys hear me talk about it all the time, but, they'll never know unless they train. He's done a session with me. He
Has
hasn't.
Rob?
Do it, yeah.
Rob hasn't.
I haven't, no.
Yeah. Well, let's
should all
let's
do
do it
it.
right over there. We're gonna jump you one by one.
Would you be
But-
open?
I've done. I did Taekwondo when I was, up until like about high school, and then before I went to the Navy. I used to my workout routine when I was younger. I ran cross country. I did Taekwondo. I did go karting. I was really active as a kid. I went biking all the time, and then I worked out pretty much every day while I was in the Navy. And once I got out, I was like, I'm gonna take a break, and then that break ended up becoming like 5 years.
Uh-oh.
But then after that, I kind of said, okay, I gotta, I felt like I was getting fat, so I had to like kind of, all right, I gotta, change my diet a little bit, and I started, trying to get back more into running and, kind of the, that stuff. Now, the job I have now, I mean, I don't need to go to the gym. I'm lifting every day,
So you're
every
very
single
active.
day. Yeah. I'm running around. Because I've been like, tracking like my steps and like all, like the activity, and I'm averaging about 15,000 steps a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's
That is a
average.
lot. Wow.
Is that average?
That's my
That's
you know,
his
based on,
average.
that's
Your
my
I was
average.
like, that's not
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, his personal average is.
my
I
personal
see.
average right now is 15,000 steps a
Wow.
day, and that's like I'm running around all over the office, and
Wow.
but at the same time I'm also like carrying something that's like 70 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, whatever motivates you.
I've been
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've been really wanting to try fencing. That's been something I've been
Like Western fencing or kendo?
well, both actually.
I used to do kendo.
Yeah, I've been wanting to, because I love swords and I like weapons and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's more of like kind of like the mindset and getting the right forms,
Sure,
and I'm very fascinated by it. So I'd like to try it.
Nice.
That and I wish I could. If I had the money, I would do a lot more like go-karting and stuff, because that is a lot of physical activity. It doesn't, it's like, oh yeah, you're just sitting in a car, and it's like, no, there's a lot of G-forces that pull on your body. You're sweating a lot. And
Forget all that, Rob.
Yeah.
Just go do
Yeah, what about jiu-jitsu?
Just
you
come to
know?
the gym.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
do-
I'm
let's
not.
roll.
I'm not saying that jiu-jitsu is bad. I think that's pretty awesome. Obviously, I watch a lot of.
How about this?
videos.
Let's at least do one session at Jason's garage. We have a buddy. He has mats in his
Oh, yeah.
garage.
Okay. Nice.
Me, you, Andy.
I know, it'll be a safe space. It'll be
Yeah,
safe.
safe space.
Safe
yeah,
space.
for you little snowflakes.
I'm just gonna cry in a corner.
No, but it'll be good, But yeah, like I was saying, it teaches you a lot about life skills. I think you listened to that interview that I sent.
Yes.
Yes, and so
About jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
did you really? Come on, dude.
I'm very
Get closer to the mic,
forgetful.
get closer
I'm
to the
very
mic.
forgetful.
But yeah, no, like how to deal with uncomfortable situations, difficult situations,
Yes.
when you're getting smashed, finding a way out.
Yes.
It just really gets you mentally tough.
Yes.
builds confidence because I got into it for self-defense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it makes you into a more humble person because you're getting smashed every day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Humility. Yeah.
How to interact with people, you know, because we interact with everyone in obviously a very physical, intimate level, you know. So
You don't get much closer than that.
yeah, exactly. So I mean,
That's
that's
for sure.
practical life skills right there, especially for the kids. You know,
Sure.
sportsmanship,
Agreed.
self-control,
Agreed.
all of that stuff. So it's great. If I have kids, I'll for sure get them in. I'll probably be even crazier than him. I'll probably be yelling. No, I'll try to leave him
I
alone.
don't-
You'll be
I
you'll
I
be
think
like
you have a better understanding
yeah,
of
you have
it,
such
so
a
I don't
deep
think, I
understanding.
don't think
Yeah.
you know.
I'll just I'll buy my own mats. Can't wait for that day to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
your man
um,
cave will just be like, you know,
I
just
know.
replace the role.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you've been training. See, through jiu-jitsu, I've also met like so many great people.
Yeah.
You know, you
Agreed.
guys. I would have
Agreed.
never met you
We're
guys
here
otherwise.
because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
So it's been
Yeah.
amazing, and
I agree.
all the people we went out with too, and
Yeah.
had fun with, and
Good
Korean
vibes.
barbecue that one day. Like,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just good
Which is
people.
awesome.
You know?
Yeah. And for me, what's exciting is that this is just the beginning, and we're having this glimmer of understanding of it. What, for you, it must be such a deep understanding of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And there must be so much more, or
It's
so much
never
deeper.
ending.
It's
Yeah,
never
it's
ending, and
never
that's
ending.
that's what's exciting. That
That's
already we're only
beautiful.
white belts, you know, for
Yeah.
not that long, and we already get it.
Yes.
Or at least we're starting to get it. You know.
The
I don't
fundamentals,
know
the key
that there's-
principles.
Yeah, to know that there's so much more is like actually very exciting.
And to me, it feels like a cult.
It is. It seriously
kinda
is. It kind of is.
It kind of is.
Like,
I
it is
could see
addictive.
why.
Yeah. It
Yes,
is
I could
obsessive.
see why.
It's a
yeah.
really good cult.
It's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Really
I mean,
good.
sometimes I have to catch myself. I think about it too much sometimes.
Sure.
I stay up
yeah.
late watching videos. But overall, it's done so much good in my life. You know, the things that I hate are the injuries, of course, but that comes with the territory.
Sure.
But other than that, it's been amazing. So and like I said, it's never ending. So you'll never get bored. There's always going to be new
True.
things to learn, to challenge
Yeah.
yourself. You're always going to
And
get a
it's
good workout.
useful. Like
Yeah.
running a treadmill or lifting weights, it looks good.
Yeah,
but
if we had 6 a.m. class every day,
Right.
I would be there.
Yeah.
I only go to the gym because we don't have
Yeah,
6 a.m.
yeah,
class.
yeah.
right,
Exactly.
right. It's so useful.
Yeah, it teaches you
I mean,
self-defense.
self-defense, you never know, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's just
think
an
it's-
overall workout, and it's
Sure.
like the time flies. When I went to
Sure.
the gym this morning because I didn't make it to 9 a.m. and
Sure.
I did my usual, just cardio and everything, but it's like it's boring.
Oh yeah, it's so boring.
That one period for 6 weeks when I had to take time off because of my neck, it was so boring, so depressing, just going to the gym and not being
you
able to roll.
like
but-
crave it. It's weird.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you
hurts.
do.
It hurts, and you're all bruised. My legs are always so bruised up, and
It's
it
a
looks
great
ugly.
feeling though, right?
But it's like you crave
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
Weird,
sick, kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
No,
yeah.
weird.
like there are
Yeah.
times where I literally my muscles itch,
Itch.
like itch. My
Oh.
muscle, my legs or my arms will start itching.
It hurts.
and
Mine
you want to
hurts.
go. It's like I want to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I want to go to the
You
gym. I
wanna,
want to
like,
roll.
you wanna
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
it's so weird,
yeah,
and
yeah.
something about walking out of there. You just that first breath of air, like
At the same
It
time,
feels so
it's
good.
such a
I feel
contrast
amazing.
from.
Yes.
I clearly remember the first time I ever rolled. I barely walked out of there. Got in my car. My hands
You,
were
like, threw up.
trembling,
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get the key in the
Yeah,
ignition.
Yeah.
And
You do shake.
I almost called Sarah. I was like, I don't think I can drive home.
Oh wow.
And I literally sat in the car for like.
Crazy.
did you like throw up one
I
time
almost
too?
threw up.
Like
I
you
never
threw
threw
up.
up. I never threw up.
Oh.
Almost.
Was it not
Almost,
you?
Not me.
Oh, okay.
It was-
My
I think it
hands
was
shake
you.
too, though, after I train. That's why, like,
So
when I
do
have to
I.
take pictures
Yeah.
after, like, for your birthday, like,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They shake anyway, but after training, it shakes
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot. But
I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
but it's such a
You
great
feel
feeling.
that.
Yeah, walking out, going to your car in the parking lot, and
I
when I'm
think
in my car, I'm
that's
just
my
like,
best. Yeah, you did it. You
Yeah,
did
you
an
did it.
hour,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you did it, and you
Yeah.
sweated.
yeah, yeah,
You put,
It's
you know,
great. You
put in
all your-
work.
Yeah, 110%.
yeah,
And that air, it's so sweet.
Yeah.
I
You'll
love
you'll
it.
never
Yeah.
regret going.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
right.
There's not one day where I ever did
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have gone today.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, right? But like,
Agreed.
yeah, sometimes it like with everything, it's discipline because like sometimes you don't feel like I don't feel like going at times a lot. I have to push myself, but after I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I
So
agree.
let's hear your point of view about jiu-jitsu and
Jiu-jitsu.
the good things, the not so good things.
I think it's a great sport overall. I don't really have a lot of negative things to say. Like, I am a woman who is doing jiu-jitsu, but in our gym, I think everyone's been very supportive and very helpful in my training as a white belt with 3 stripes.
I'm very impressed that you're
Yeah.
sticking with it, you know? It's
I'm
like,
sticking with it,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be consistent,
Yeah.
and that's the hardest part.
It is.
But you know, I try to be consistent. I think it's because Eric is very supportive too. You know, obviously we have kids, we have
Yeah, yeah,
obligations,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he definitely makes, you know, time so that I can go and enjoy that time. You know, so I really do appreciate that.
That's why I wake her up in the morning. That's why I gag when I.
That is so true. I
the
wish,
price she has to pay.
honestly, I wish that would
Yeah, the
stop.
gag.
Like this morning, I woke up because he was like on the pot, listening to some like podcast. I don't even know what he was listening to, but that woke me up. My plan was to wake up at 8, but I woke up at 6. So thank you. But yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say. I think it's only been positive in my life. I feel stronger. Like, you know, I was like very sedentary. Can't even do like one sit up or like push up, let alone
I
a push-up.
remember.
Like I couldn't even do one. Like I barely did like 5 women push-ups or whatever.
How many can you do now?
I could do like 20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I mean, it's
good.
amazing how much your body changes over time.
Yeah, yeah.
Short amount of time, right? Because I've been doing it kind of like religiously for the last 6 months. So that keeps me motivated.
I give you props.
Yeah,
You're a
thank
mom.
you very
work
much.
full time, and you're doing jujitsu.
And thank you for teaching me.
Of course.
James always likes to say like, "Oh, I'm only 140 pounds." But, oh my God, he weighs like a ton because he's really good at the
Yeah.
craft. You know, I actually hate it when you say that because it's like I'm like I get so upset and I want to like throw you off, but it's just impossible because
fun.
my
Good
skills are not
times.
there yet.
No, I was telling
Yeah.
Eric, you've gotten a lot better. And
Oh, I
I
have?
remember when I first met you,
Perfect.
when I very first met you.
Yeah.
At the old location. Yeah, and you're like, go easy, I'm a beginner, and
Yeah.
it's like, of course, you
I
know.
always do that spill because I don't want to.
No, that's good that you do it. You're good at speaking up.
Oh,
and you need
okay.
to do that, which is
Okay,
good.
okay.
But yeah, no, it's funny. Like, I don't think I've told you this, but
Yes.
the push-up thing, like, after, you know, like a Monday, Wednesday black
Yes.
belt training class, you guys have fundamentals.
Yes.
So at times I'll just stick around, obviously, to watch while we're sitting on the bleachers, whatever, and you guys
Yes.
are warming up. And I remember I would see you, like, struggling to do a push-up
Yes.
on your knees. You're like,
That
oh.
was me.
You always make that sound, oh. When she rolls, seriously.
I think I make that noise. I don't know about that.
But the thing is that,
Such a liar.
you'll see.
He's trying to get more
see.
viewers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever it takes to
I've
get
known
more
James.
views.
I've known
that is
James
very
longer.
true.
I've known James longer, so I'm gonna,
Yeah.
believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You'll see if we roll.
I
But
have
it's
no
fun
opinion.
though. It's fun.
Yes, but now you see me doing some.
Yeah.
regular
So no, just the other day, I think last week or something, during the warm up, I saw you actually doing the push-ups.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
She's come a long
Yeah,
way.
you've come a long way. I mean, it wasn't like I was like stalking you or anything, but it was just.
Yeah,
something
it's
that I
an
noticed.
improvement.
Yeah, it's definitely an
I'm
improvement.
gonna pass your guard
Yeah.
one day.
So let's tell them about the bet. If she passes my guard legit, and by the end of the year,
Yes.
He's
He's buying me dinner.
I'm buying you dinner. I'll buy both of you dinner.
Yes.
But if you don't, you guys are buying me dinner.
Okay.
K barbecue.
Sorry, babe.
December 31st, 2018.
If I don't pass his guard by the end of the year, then we have to buy him dinner. But if I pass it, he's buying us dinner.
Yeah, both of you dinner.
I guess now both of us.
We might as well just buy it from now.
Have more faith. Have more faith. I can do 20 push-ups. Have more faith in your wife.
You can't do 20 pushes. I remember.
I couldn't even
God,
do one.
last
We were
year.
talking
yeah,
about
we were
that just
talking about
now.
it. Yeah,
She
I would
literally
see her
couldn't
during
do
the warm-ups, and she would struggle to even do
Yeah.
one. But
Thank you very much.
hey, no, yeah, seriously, mad
So
props.
that's the improvement.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
keeps you going.
And you're
I
looking
see that.
toned, you know, and
Thank
everything.
you.
I see your Instagram workout videos too with Mike, right? Mike Kachikian has
Mike
been
is
training
an
you. So.
amazing trainer.
Where do you guys? Where do
good.
you lift
He's really
weights?
good.
Where do you guys do it?
It's in
Sports
Encino.
Rehab LA.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's in
a
Encino?
very yeah.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Balboa and
Balboa
Ventura.
and
Oh my
Ventura.
God, that's really close to my
Yeah,
work.
by Equinox.
But it's
Oh,
a
wow.
really great facility.
It's a very good.
A lot of athletes go there. Odell goes there. Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Um,
know these people.
Must be expensive though.
It's well, it's
Oh, no,
Mike.
it's Mike.
You
We just
know,
pay Mike.
Okay.
it's a.
Oh, so it's like a. You
it's
just
a-
go in and.
He gets access to the space, and then we just.
Okay,
we
okay.
pay him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
but he's such a good motivator.
Yeah, yeah.
No BS. Very straight face. Like if I complain, he's like, "Are you done yet?"
Yeah.
Like, let's go. If I even say anything, he's like, Okay, let's go.
What's
Send
up,
more.
Mike? Coach
What's up, Mike? You're the best.
Congrats
There
on
you
the
go,
brown.
man.
Congrats
You're
on the
the
brown.
best.
For sure, for sure.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, hey, again, I who knows who I meet, but maybe I'll be training with my future wife or something like that.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I kind of don't want her to train. I don't want
You
to see.
don't
I
want-
don't want.
Why?
Yeah.
No, I don't want her to see her all beat up and stuff. You know what I mean? Like.
Do
I
you
don't know.
think?
What?
What do you think about your wife's training? Do I get beat up and you feel bad for me?
No, I think it's
Do you
pretty
think
dope.
it's hot that I am?
I don't know about that.
Well, those bruises,
This
make you
goes
look
back
tough.
to those
Make you
leather,
look tough.
the leather strap days.
Tonight
The
we're
leather
gonna
strap.
get the leather strap, baby.
But it's something I think about. It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, do I want my future girlfriend to train jujitsu? Of course, it'd be fun and everything. But then it's like, man, like the grind and the ears and you get your face all grinded up and bruised. You look good. I'm not talking about you.
I'm
but it's
only
like-
white belt though.
But it's like, do I want her to train? Do I want her to have neck issues like me? And
Yeah, it's pretty
jacked
intense.
up?
But then the
I don't know.
inspiring women like
Gazari.
Gazari. Oh my
Gazari,
god,
you're
she's so
so hot.
hot.
Oh my
She
God,
is
she's-
so
she's
hot.
so hot.
Jazari Matuda.
Yes,
He'll
and
put in a
like
picture.
even at our gym, Tasia is so motivating. Like
Yeah,
she's
for sure.
beautiful.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like beautiful in and out. So people like that,
All the girls are
how
cool.
do you explain that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
They're
All the
cool.
girls are beasts there.
Yeah.
Like,
they are.
yeah.
Really down to earth
Yes.
too.
You
Yes.
guys- yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just something I think about. So yeah,
Yeah.
of course I'm on the same. I'm very active, so she needs
You
to be
will-
active,
yes.
right?
I like,
Yes.
well, for us, I like that we can share that. you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Your whole
when we-
family,
yeah.
your kids do. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's kind of
That's
cool that
awesome.
we all do it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
It's like marriage therapy.
but
too.
like, yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
mean, when you
I didn't
get,
like that you said that.
she got me an arm
Take out
bar.
the trash.
She got me in an arm bar a couple weeks ago.
But you
There you
like
go.
also threw
I didn't
me,
like that.
Like how
I didn't like that, yeah.
you like threw me.
You never take out the trash, armbar.
Let's not
Well,
talk
that's
about the
awesome.
trash.
It's awesome listening to you guys' jiu-jitsu story and your active lifestyle. Now,
you.
now let's talk about movies. Now you're into movies.
Oh, movies.
Yeah.
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
All right,
Nerddom. Switching.
this
yeah.
is where I come
Yeah,
in.
Robert's like, yay, I can finally talk.
Yes.
Well, you guys could talk
You're
about
very patient, Robert.
some movies that you like, and then I wanted to talk about Crazy Rich Asians with Sarah. Get her
Oh, okay,
perspective,
okay,
but you
okay.
guys go first.
I haven't
So-
seen that yet.
Yeah.
Shame.
So we're gonna twiddle our thumbs when they talk about.
When they talk-
yeah.
We'll just text each other.
Exactly.
I want you to braid each other's hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's true. Yeah, that's why I'm growing it out for Rob.
So, as you know, like since you've been watching a little bit of our stuff,
Yes.
Andy and I have been kind of diving into the classic filmdom
Yes.
of. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I looked at the AFI top 100 films of
Okay.
all time, and
Okay.
some of them I've seen quite a bit, and
Yeah.
other ones I'm like, oh, I've never seen this movie, or I'm coming into it fresh, or I saw it a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while, so I kind of forgot about the plot of the story. But I've been, a lot of times the movies that are going on nowadays, it's a bunch of remakes or all this
Right,
stuff, and it's just
right.
like, well, that's kind of like, I like new ideas.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, let's go back. Let's watch movies from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s.
Very
and,
cool.
So we've kind of been working on that during Nocturnal Transmissions, and
Tuesdays, 8 p.m.
Can you
been watching
explain
that,
that a little? Like
Explain what?
the nocturnal what?
What does
it mean? Nocturnal.
oh,
Like,
so
can you? Yeah.
it's
How did that come about?
It's a play on words.
everything every show that we do on
Yeah.
this, it's a play on words. We're
Okay.
nerds, so we love a good wordplay.
Okay.
And so
For the viewers.
so
and myself.
Nocturnal
Yeah.
Transmissions, it's more of a
Kind of
there's
double
not-
entendre.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything's kind of dirty on this show a little bit.
Is it?
I love it.
We have Circle of Jerks, which is
We'll get into that later. We'll
Yeah,
get into that
that's-
one later.
Well, there was
Okay.
a punk band called Circle Jerks.
Yeah,
You know
that's
that,
right.
Is
That's
there?
right.
Keith Morris. who
Yeah.
was
I
a
kind of want to
Black
know
Flag.
how you guys started all of this. And
But then Circle Jerks.
It's something else. We'll get to that one right
you'll
after.
get to that. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
a fun-
Okay.
I can't wait to see your reaction.
But
I want to know how you guys met. Why
Go
are we
on, let's
doing
do
that?
Nocturnal Transmissions first.
so Nocturnal Transmissions was more of kind of the it's a nighttime thing, and we are talking at night, so it's kind of like we're transmitting.
Yeah,
at
we're
night.
we're doing it's a
So-
live stream. We're doing it live. We're transmitting it over the internet.
Okay.
But it could also mean something else, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
What does it mean?
It also means something that's not quite PG-13.
Yes.
But I don't think this podcast is
What does that mean?
PG-13.
It's
Not necessarily. I mean, I always say like I want it to be at least PG-13, but like every once in a while, someone will like let the F-bomb slip. It's like, oh fuck it. You know?
No,
Well, then was it when I had my friend Brandon on? It's like, oh yeah, that it's just gone out the window.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Does she know what the nocturnal transmissions is?
I have no idea.
Just
I
say
still
it.
don't
Just say it.
understand.
She doesn't-
it's essentially
Sure.
like when a male in his days of puberty,
Okay.
kind of
Oh.
emits at night.
Oh,
wet dream.
oh, yes,
dream.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Wait, is it only
Is that
during
what
puberty?
it
Nocturnal-
literally means that?
Nocturnal emission.
Yeah.
You like-
Like
It's
what?
an emission.
I mean,
You're
it's
like
it's more prevalent in puberty, but it happens like all
It
the
happens.
That is so weird.
It's
Yeah.
the other word for it I think the technical term is
Is
nocturnal
emission.
nocturnal
Ejacu-
emission.
Ejaculation. type of thing.
Ejaculation, right? You're like
Yeah.
waking up and you realize.
You
oh my
splooge
God,
all over
Yeah.
yourself.
I just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
the
won't
term
use
is
the
like
word.
nocturnal emissions, but we just like twisted it and like made it
So
transmissions.
nighttime just.
So nocturnal is night.
Yeah. So like
Right.
you're dreaming and you're sleeping.
Yes.
And you
and
splooge.
if you sleep yeah,
About
you splooge.
movies or
No.
happenings
No,
or-
Down there.
I mean, but how does that translate in a
So
podcast?
Do you? But you know now, right? What it means?
You
Yeah,
get
I
it.
do know.
Yeah.
I do
Okay.
know.
Okay.
So
I do know.
So the reason we
Yes,
came up
yes,
with
yes.
nocturnal transmissions, it's a play on words of that. Is that
Okay.
it's nighttime, but instead of emitting, we're transmitting.
transmitting.
We're having a conversation at
conversation,
night.
right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you.
Now tell her what circle
Thank
of jerks
you.
means, because I didn't even know.
It's my ESL.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
So the Circle of Jerks podcast. Now there's a
Like,
couple,
how do you guys know each other? Like, I know you
Oh,
guys have
okay.
met. Like, how
Through
did this
church.
podcast, like,
We went
start?
to Everyday Church
Okay.
on Balboa and Devonshire,
Yes.
and then KC in LA, and then we all got together. And okay, and
Like,
so
whose idea was
okay,
it
so
to, yeah.
the interesting thing is that we have some other friends.
Yes.
A guy named Dancing Jason, Paul know Matt Wade.
You
guys know Matt
you
Wade.
know a guy named Dancing Jason?
That's his nickname. I want you to meet him. He's a funny dude. So-
Okay.
Sounds
Dude,
awesome.
maybe
Yeah, I
yeah.
actually
No.
did invite him
Very
to come
cool.
today, but
we don't actually call him by his real name. Dancing Jason is what he goes
Dancing?
by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he dance?
Yes.
yes,
Well,
You better dance.
yeah. I know with a name like Dancing Jason,
You will have a lot of fun. Trust me. He's a good guy.
I like the
really
dance.
good dude.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
super cool dude. But anyway, like we always have like these interesting, fun conversations just on our own. I'm sure you guys do too. Whether it's serious stuff like politics, they talk about politics all the time. I'm probably the least political guy here.
I don't like politics.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the
But
news.
it's
You don't?
it's like good conversation though, you know. So
Yeah.
we just end up like talking about a lot of like serious things or
Right.
funny things,
Yeah,
random
and,
things.
like,
events.
in my defense, like I'm only political because it kind of because now like the politics is bleeding into culture.
Yeah.
And I'm like really like a culture person, and so yeah, I'm not I'm not.
It
a
was
fan-
forced onto us.
Yeah.
Andy, were you born here?
Yeah. I was born
Okay.
here.
Born and raised here in America.
Yeah, in the valley.
But it's really good that
In
they're
the valley.
politically knowledgeable, you know what I mean? I learned a lot from them. So we have like all these good conversations
Yes.
in our group chat also. And just like random funny conversations. If you knew Jason, Dancing Jason, like he's the most off the wall person. His
Dancing
humor-
Jason.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
are
She's
you?
calling you out, but it's like his humor is so unique. And we just end up having these fun conversations, and we're just like, dude, this is podcast material.
Oh,
Why don't we just
gotcha.
do a podcast? Let's just
That's
do it for
awesome.
fun.
Got
Let's
you.
do it.
For fun, yeah.
So we finally ended up doing it. This guy's the backbone. This is all his equipment, and it's been like a year, a little over a year.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And
we-
you guys are all jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You sit in a circle.
now,
okay.
now
So-
Robert,
Explanation
Robert's
of
gonna
what
explain
it-
that.
Okay, thank you.
No, so Circle of Jerks, it's a play on something. Now there's the term circle jerk. Now there's a couple different connotations to that.
Okay.
There's the circle jerk where it's a bunch of people that are sitting together and that they're just saying yes to everything. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you're great. Yeah. So
I
there's
agree.
that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
so there-
agree.
that's-
The agreeable people.
That would be the PG
Yes.
version of
Okay.
circle jerk. Then there's the other unfortunate sexual connotation that goes with that. That's people that are pleasuring themselves.
Just be blunt with it.
They're
Yeah, it's
jerking
like-
off in a circle
Yeah.
of guys.
Who jerks off in a circle?
Who doesn't?
That is very weird. Women don't jerk off in a circle.
Yeah, does this
like-
actually happen though?
Yes,
know,
this
but
is
that's
a
the
real
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, take me back.
If you've ever watched HBO late at night, like back in like the 90s, they would have like these. It was called Real Sex, and they would show
I
like
watched
these.
that, yeah.
Okay, so you know.
I know that. Yeah.
I have no
I didn't have
idea.
HBO back then. It was all blurry. Otherwise, I would have watched it. I don't
Yeah.
know, but go ahead.
Oh, you remember Spice Channel, by the way?
Yes, I do
You
remember
never
that.
did. It's
yes.
all mosaic,
yes.
but you try to figure out, oh, there's a boob here.
I was like, oh, I think I
That
see a
is our
boob.
generation.
Turn down
right?
the volume to
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
so your parents don't hear.
It's like, oh, I think I see a boob.
Is it a boob? It's a boob. Is she
Or a
on
cookie?
top?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Am
She's
I
on
watching
top.
the baking channel? I can't tell.
But yeah, no, there was. I remember seeing that. Like the first time I had heard of that term was watching Real Sex on HBO.
So
and
a
it was
bunch
like,
of guys would sit.
well, I turned it off at that point because I was like, "This is freaky." Like,
That's
well, who
weird. I
would
mean,
do this?
Yeah.
guys, do they really do that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah.
weird like nudist cult colonies, I
Okay.
guess. But so yeah, so
They would pleasure each other.
Ex-
That's why they're
yeah.
like sitting in a circle.
That is
Exactly.
so strange.
Yeah. But then there's also the band called Circle Jerks.
And
But we
is
didn't
it a
know
They're
punk
a
band?
punk band.
It's a punk band, yeah.
So the funny thing was that when we, because Andy and I we're always kind of on the same page with this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we knew of that. James was like, he was like, oh cool, you know, he was thinking something else, and then
Yeah, we were thinking of a name for a group. I'm like, you know, a lot of people call me a jerk, unfortunately, like you.
And I mean,
not
and
nice.
when we are like, when we kind
kind
of
of are
like,
jerks to
we
each
kind of
other.
bust each other's balls, like being like kind
Yeah.
of jerks to each other. So,
So we're like, oh, how about Circle of Jerks? I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then,
you got called out
Yeah,
by a
yeah,
friend
yeah.
that was
yeah, you posted a picture of us like setting up for like the first
Yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
and then
it was actually Jun Lee, a guy that we used to train with, and his family trains too. He
Okay.
was a Korean dude, and his family trains jiu-jitsu
At
too.
our
He's a
gym.
really cool dude. He used to.
At our
He
gym?
trains at Phenom now.
Oh.
But no, cool dude. But June comments. He goes,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
June, yeah, yeah.
His son Max,
Max
right?
and Sophie.
Sophie,
know
and then
that?
the Nick.
Nick, little Nick.
Dude,
Those guys
I
are beef.
watched. I met June at a competition, a kids competition, where Nick was competing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've
yeah.
seen him all the time, and like that kid is a beast.
Yeah, their whole family.
Yeah, and then I started talking. June's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
I started
yeah,
talking
yeah.
to him, and I think we connected on Facebook.
Yeah,
But wow.
yeah.
That kid is a
Sophie is a beast, and Max is like. People say we look exactly alike now. He used to be small and chubby, but now he's
Oh, that's the
like
older
a family,
son.
yeah.
Okay.
They're all
Anyway,
good.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
they're a family that trains just like you guys. So,
Oh.
but anyway, he comments and he says, "LOL, like, do you know what circle jerking means?" So I'm like, so I looked it up and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Robert, did you know?"
When you picked his name.
Yeah, I was pissed. I'm like, I didn't know that they knew. So I was like, holy crap, we got to change our names.
And
I-
Rob's like, yes,
And
that's the
then you're
next
like,
episode.
yeah.
I was like, no, I was like, yeah, we knew James. Like, we thought you knew too. Like, that was the whole point.
I didn't know. I didn't know what circle jerking meant either.
So, so that was kind of the.
Sure you didn't.
So, anyways, that was kind of the how we got those two shows started with like the names. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of a play on words. The third show that we do, though, it's on a little bit of a hiatus right now. Up by Up Down. It's kind of the Contra code.
Okay.
For NES, you know,
Up, down, down,
yeah,
left, right, left, right,
exactly.
D,
so like start.
It's that, and then it's also North by Northwest, the movie.
No.
the
No.
Hitchcock movie.
I know the movie.
What are we
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Up, you know, like
So-
North by Northwest.
Yeah, I know.
So I
It's so
took like
foreign
the,
language.
you know, like when you do codes for like old games, like up, down, left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just did up by up, down.
Yeah, so it's a mix of North by Northwest and the Contra code.
Yeah.
Like
And
a
it was a-
if you're looking at a compass, it's up by.
yeah, like it was like the title of the movie, North by Northwest. But for him, because it's about video games, so it's like up by up, down. Kind of like, you know, when you have to do
That's
code.
clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that was Andy's idea.
Wow, I like
Yeah.
that. I
He had
like
the better
that.
idea. So
I love playing with words
Yeah.
too. So.
I don't like this. I don't know what it means to go south, north, west, or east.
We're talking
It
to
sounds
someone
like
who.
that to
This
me.
is how she Googles.
I don't
In
understand.
full sentences
In
with
full
question
sentences.
marks. Like,
Be quiet.
where do I buy a Goyard bag in Los Angeles, California for under
It
$1,000?
pulls up.
It does.
San
It's
Francisco.
amazing,
Yeah, it's
right?
amazing
It actually
how,
pulls
like,
up and
specific,
answers my
yeah.
question.
Yeah, it is amazing
So
how
I'm a
specific it
different
can get.
person. It
Yeah.
works for me.
Okay.
And she capitalizes words too.
Oh, like in the
not
beginning? It's like,
case-sensitive.
yeah, it's
like-
not case sensitive.
It's like
Leave me alone.
Yeah. So anyway,
So to bring us back,
Yes.
so we've been doing a bunch of movie reviews,
'Kay.
old
Oh,
movie
yes, yes,
reviews
yes.
on Nocturnal
Really like
Transmissions.
It took us.
Don't worry, I got it up here. I'm good.
Yeah, Rob's got
Going like crazy.
yeah,
Right.
stay on
Rob's got a
task,
steel
stay on
trap.
task.
I'm usually the
Thank you for
facilitator
redirecting.
of this
Yes.
crazy
Uh-huh.
Yes,
situation.
yes.
So I always have it up here. So anyway,
Yes,
so we
thank you.
review movies on Nocturnal Transmission. We've been doing this for a while now. We've been doing some older movies, and you talking about through our chat together, trying to get this all sorted out. We found out obviously you love movies too.
Yes,
so
yes.
Yeah, because you went to film school, so.
I did, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, he
For
loves
10
it.
minutes. yeah.
So you know,
10 minutes.
we just got done doing our Kubrick month. We were doing a bunch of
I
Stanley
saw some of
Kubrick
that, yeah.
films.
Yes.
Yeah, but we went more B-sides. You know, everyone knows 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Yeah.
Full Metal
Full
Jacket.
Metal
Full Metal
Jacket,
Jacket.
those kind of. So we went like, well, we went to like Spartacus. We went to
Barry
Pas-
Lyndon. I saw
Yeah,
that.
Barry Lyndon. That was
Yeah.
actually a great movie. I really liked
Yeah.
it.
You got through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Wow. I tried to get through that. I
That
couldn't
was
do it.
we actually watched that together.
Yeah,
Normally
yeah.
we're watching them on our
Separately,
own
and then-
separately,
Wow.
but we watched that one together. It was like, whew, that was a marathon. I didn't know it was 3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, that's intense.
I know. Like, it legit had an intermission.
Like at least
Yeah.
like Patton
Yeah.
is our version of that, USA's version of that, I would
Oh,
say.
right.
But even that is so hard to get through.
But yeah, we so we did that. Now we're doing a little bit of a mixture, but we got some other stuff, and we're gonna do a couple theme months.
Nice, nice.
Coming up. But so we've been kind of diving into those top 100 films of all
Uh-huh.
time. We've been just other stuff that are like, hey, this seems kind of interesting. Let's check this out. I don't know what this movie is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like Humphrey Bogart. I like James Cagney. Let's see what type of films they were in. And
Nice.
and we did Casablanca. We've
Yeah.
done with the Roaring Twenties. Films like that. Stuff that we're into. We've exhausted the hatred that we had for the last Star Wars movie. So
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although it comes up every single episode.
it does. Once again, here it is. We
Yeah.
we on our
I legitimately hate legitimately hated Last Jedi.
a couple episodes ago on the podcast we had Brandon on, and he's also a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
So we talked about him, and we were talking about the films that we hate the most.
Uh-huh.
His I was surprised was The Last Jedi. That's
Yeah.
his
Really?
most
Like,
hated
That's
film.
that's the only movie I have like a visceral reaction to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
I hate it that much.
Wow. So you must be a big Star Wars fan. I'm not a Star Wars fan,
Me
so I
neither.
can't.
Yeah,
relate
I
to
am.
that.
I am a Star Wars
Yeah,
fan.
so I have no. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. How to measure that.
but more than that, I'm just like a big fan of like good storytelling.
Of
You know?
course,
And
yeah.
Last Jedi was just god awful.
Oh wow. Really?
It's just like it offended my sensibilities. It's just like someone who really enjoys stories and like
Is that the last one that came out?
yeah,
Okay.
the last like episodic Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we look at some of those franchises as it's modern day mythology.
Sure.
And to kind of cheapen it and try to everyone wants to put their own twist on it. It's like,
Yeah.
but there's something. The movie has that series has transcended its creator, where it's become something more than Indiana
Sure.
Jones is kind of that way too, where it's kind of transcended George Lucas. Star Wars, Star Wars also George Lucas.
George Lucas. Yeah.
But those franchises have transcended their creators. So
Right.
to treat them kind of like crap, like
Almost
we felt,
bastardizing it.
yeah,
Mhm.
like we feel like they're directors and the people that are doing it now. It's like you're kind of you're crapping on a fan base and on a story that has become so big
Right.
and that
But-
we all care
It's
about.
the power of Disney, right?
Yeah, but it's funny because they constantly they're like saying like, oh well, we're trying to attract a new fan base, but they're dependent on the old fan base.
Right. Right.
So it's like this kind of like contradiction. It's like get away but come close. It's like
Yeah.
it's
It's like a bad relationship.
Yeah, it's like this isn't for you, but buy our stuff. It's just
Yeah. Well, like going back to Kubrick, what other films did you
so we
look at from Kubrick, and what are your favorite Kubrick films?
so we did Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon,
Spartacus.
Spartacus, Doctor
Pacific-
Strangelove.
Oh yeah,
Strange Love, which is great.
Yeah.
See, I didn't like Doctor Strangelove as much, and maybe it's kind of like when you think you're gonna be eating something, you're expecting one flavor, and then it's another. That's
Well,
kind of how
yeah,
I felt
'cause-
about Doctor Strangelove.
Because
Okay.
Robert didn't know that it was supposed to be a comedy.
Right. It's
So
a
he was-
very
yeah.
dark comedy.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's very dry humor.
Uh-huh.
And so Robert came into thinking that it was going to be more like a serious type of movie.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in fact, it was like
And I felt it was kind of goofy.
It is goofy.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
goofy.
Even the title itself, the full title itself
Yeah, yeah.
is what is it?
Yeah.
Doctor Strangelove and how I learned to
stop worrying and learn to love the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I
good.
went in.
Andy's so
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
yeah.
So I kind of
Got it on lock.
Damn.
because I had never seen that, so
Yeah.
I didn't read anything about it or anything. So I went into it cold, and I was thinking it was going to be kind of more of a serious film, you know, like many of Kubrick's films are.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, this is the goofiest movie I've ever seen.
yeah.
And you know, it was once I went back after watching it and reading it, it's like, oh, this was meant to be a comedy.
Right,
And
it's
it's
a
like
very
then
dark
it's like
comedy,
yeah.
so if I went back
It's almost
and
Lynchian in a way.
yeah, so if I
Yeah.
went,
Okay.
if I went back now and watched it, it's like, okay, now I can appreciate the comedy. And I guess you know, the
Yeah,
you know, some-
exactly.
There's
Yeah.
3 different
Yeah.
characters. Look for them.
yeah.
What about like I don't know, like his later stuff, or even like The Shining? Are you guys?
So
Oh.
I
of
haven't
The
watched The
Shining?
Shining in probably about 25 years. So I'm kind
So
of
weird.
detached from it. It's so I can't really comment on that. I haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut, which was his last
Yes.
film,
yeah.
I like that one.
and I've
So-
heard
With
that.
Nicole Kidman
Yeah.
And
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
I see bits and pieces, but I never like sat down and watched like the entire thing.
That's
through.
probably gonna be the next one I watch from him.
Eyes Wide
Yes.
Shut.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the ones that and I wouldn't say 2001. 2001 was not my favorite. It's good, but it's missing a lot because that story was he worked with another author, and the author wrote a book kind of talking about the lore of what was going on, and then him doing the movie was more of kind of a adaptation of it, but it was more of a, you know, it left a lot to interpretation.
Okay.
And you were supposed to have read the bok and then watched the
Oh, yeah.
movie and kind of
Oh, right,
paired them together.
because the writer of the book was Arthur C. Clarke.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during like the screenwriting process, they were like constantly like butting heads. Because I think because Kubrick wanted it to be more kind of like left to interpretation and like metaphorical.
Kubrick's known for that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
And
The
then-
Shining.
Right.
Yeah. Stephen King hated The Shining.
Yeah.
We've come to find that like in every film he's come to blows with like at least
Right,
one
he's-
person
Like
during the
like for
filming
Spartacus,
process.
like he like got into it with like I think one of the directors of photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like no Kubrick production has ever gone
Has ever
like
been smooth.
Yeah, never
because
been smooth.
he's a visionary and like
Yeah.
he has a way of telling stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say of the ones that I've watched, recently of his, I really liked Barry Lyndon a lot.
Really? I should
it-
try sitting through that again. 'cause
it-
I never made it through.
No, it does go at a glacial pace.
Yes,
Glacial is a perfect word.
it is.
All
But
those red coats and
Yeah, yeah. His color palette is really interesting.
yeah.
Like, in that movie.
well, cinematography wise, it was all done with natural lighting. It wasn't.
Right.
It didn't
that,
use.
well, yeah, that was one of the things that
as long as
Robert
it was just
researched.
shot outdoors.
Yeah,
right?
like there was like one scene where it was like lit, like the scene was lit nothing but with candles.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no artificial
There's
lighting.
no,
in that.
there's no like fill lights or anything
Wow.
like that. So
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Kubrick's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so that one was pretty interesting.
Do you think there's a modern day version of Kubrick? Not that he's not modern, but like
Right.
today's directors.
Man, I mean,
Someone who is that type of visionary.
I would think that maybe Christopher Nolan is kind of on the same
Interesting.
like kind of that
Oh.
visionary type,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
their
that's a
type
good
of
one.
movies are very different too.
Right. Of
Because
course.
no,
Yeah.
but I think
But that unrelenting vision. that
yes,
But I
Kubrick
think,
had.
but he does kind of lack in, well, because that was his first kind of like Hollywood blockbuster action movie, and like
You're talking about Kubrick?
no,
Batman?
Nolan,
Batman.
yeah, like specifically the Dark Knight trilogy.
Sure.
Like his
So
fight,
good.
Favorite,
his
yeah.
like his choreography wasn't
Loved
that
it.
great.
Okay.
Wasn't that great?
Have you
but
watched Dunkirk?
yes,
I did.
That was
I've
amazing.
always loved Dunkirk.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
like,
Favorite
yeah,
movie.
everything
Very
about
So
that movie
intense.
was great.
Oh, wow.
The sound design, everything was
Very.
on point. I think what like him, it's interesting because
Oh, sorry.
like there's certain aspects to like his skill set that I think are a little bit lacking, but his ability to tell a great story just that's what like makes me like forget everything about like kind of like more of the technical kind of things.
Sure.
And I think in that way, like he's like this generation's Kubrick.
That's interesting.
Yeah, see, because my
Right.
all time favorite film, if I had to choose one, I love Memento.
Oh, that was
Oh,
good. That
yes.
was so
That's
good.
the
That was
second film,
great,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I've always been a Christopher Nolan fan,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I kind of see him on that kind of same level as Kubrick,
Yeah.
where it's just they're kind of out there, and
Yeah.
you're left open to a lot of like what do you think about this? It's
Right.
not necessarily set in stone. It's
He
not
leaves a
all,
lot of questions on the
exactly.
table.
Like, Interstellar. You
Right,
have,
I was just about to say that.
yeah, Interstellar. what
Which
was-
surprisingly people didn't like, but I was like,
In,
so
Inception
fascinated.
is another one where there's so many like
Inception,
Inception was
like
great.
that ending, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Is he
I know.
in
And then
Inception or
the other thing is what is actually that what's the word that they use for the
totem.
The totem. Well, some
Ah.
people think it's like it's not the top wasn't his totem.
Right.
It was the ring. It was that was his totem. Like the
Right, because
top
the
was
top was his wife's.
That was-
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what
And
you left
so-
seeing at the last image,
Exactly.
right?
You guys actually remember all the details
That's
of the
the
movie
last image of the
today?
movie.
Yeah, that's
Because
the
it's
last
been a while.
Because there's like it
It's
kind of
spinning
kind of
top.
wobbles and then it goes black.
And
So
you don't
it's like,
know
you don't
if
know
he was being incepted or if he was
if
it's
he was
real.
still in like the dream world or if he was in real life.
right.
So that was like the kind of. But although I don't think it was a great move on Christopher Nolan's part to come out and give a definitive answer. Because
Oh,
he did
he
later
did?
on. Yeah, he gets it's like I forget what it was. Oh, I can't remember exactly. I can't remember if he said that it was he was in the dream world or if it was real life. But he did give a definitive
I think
answer.
I read an article last year or something.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Caine gave an explanation that it wasn't a dream because he said Christopher Nolan explained to him that every scene that Michael Caine is in
Mm-hmm.
is reality. And in that
Oh.
moment, Michael Caine was in the picture,
Right, yeah, because he was the
So
one
that
that
was
wow.
actually reality.
Oh, okay. So crazy. So in a way, Michael Caine, like his dad,
Yeah.
is his totem.
Is it so? Yeah. Oh.
so that throws, see, and that,
I just got chills.
see,
We
and
gotta
that
go
throws a
watch that
whole nother layer on top of that because you have all those different like is this the totem? Is that the totem? Is that person the totem?
yeah.
And so that's what I love about the Christopher Nolan films because there's always that extra layer that like you don't think about because I hadn't thought about that
Yeah,
part
yeah.
and so yeah kind of
That's such a great comparison when I asked that you said Christopher Nolan. Because now I'm thinking back because Shining is pretty much the Kubrick movie for me.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
probably the
for
one.
a lot of people.
Most people because that's the one they've watched the most. It's always played a lot on TV. But there was that one documentary called Room 237. Did you guys see that?
I have not.
I've heard of that.
Oh.
You heard of it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's its whole theory based on the room that the kid Danny goes into is room 237. And apparently in
Okay.
the book is 217.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason Kubrick changed it to 237. And there's all these theories about what is the significance of the number. Numerologists studied it, and they were studying Kubrick's methodology. And I don't know exactly what the final basis is, but it came down to the point where every single detail in the movie revolves around 237. The length of the movie,
Oh, it's 2 hours 37
down
minutes.
to the second, you can relate it back to 237.
That's pretty crazy.
crazy.
So now I need to go back and watch this.
Yeah,
Shining.
yeah.
Right.
And then
Okay.
if you add up the numbers, 217, if you add up the numbers, is 10.
Right.
237, if you add up the numbers, is what, 12?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, and then they were explaining it like it's about everything in between. So what's in between 10 and 12? 11. And 11 is a very significant number in the movie. And then imagery is all about 11, like the two girl twins.
Oh,
It looks
that's
like
right.
11, yeah.
And then the elevators.
And the elevators is 11. So they're like, Maybe there's something there, or maybe someone's smoking a lot of weed.
I haven't even seen that movie yet.
Yeah.
I should
It's like
watch
that thing where, like, you know, they say like people can find patterns in anything.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. So, but it's kind of cool. Yeah,
it is. It's
And
cool.
Kubrick, I wouldn't put it past him.
Right.
He came up with
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah. Oh, and he's one of those crazy directors that where he was so involved in his movies, and he kept everything so secret.
Yeah.
And I mean that's probably why he came to blows with so many people.
Yeah.
And I mean his last film, Eyes Wide Shut. I mean he kept everything secret and worked himself essentially in that after that final cut and like you get everything done. He died. So.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Dr. Strangelove, there was one of the blows that we thought was kind of funny was the actor that played what was the guy's name? What was the character's name in that? Do you remember the general, the Air Force general?
Oh,
The actual actor's name?
No, well, I mean his character's name or the actor's name, it doesn't matter. The guy he played in Patton. As,
George.
Something Scott.
He was in Patton.
Something
George
Scott.
George
but
C.
then-
Scott. George
yeah,
C.
George C.
Scott. George C. Scott.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he was thinking that character should be played more seriously, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll film that." It's like, but and
Speaking of George C. Scott, I'm gonna talk about something.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he he was fooled in like, hey, but during this in between shots, just we'll just film some just ad lib things, be crazy, be silly, and that was what he did, but because Kubrick wanted to be a comedy. He filmed it, so it's like he filmed all the serious part, the silly parts, and that's what we get in the film, and he cut out all like the serious parts that George C. Scott played, and once the movie filmed, that George C. Scott never talked to him again after that. He's like, he fooled me.
He lied.
He lied to me.
Oh yeah, I was like, let's have a little fun here, and then he used all the fun bits as the actual movie.
Yeah. And turned it into a comedy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so,
Although he was pretty freaking hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's genius on the part of Kubrick.
Yeah,
though.
it was.
Yeah, the part that got me that it was this is why because I didn't know it was a comedy when he was backing up and he was like he's a commie and like he ended up doing this weird barrel roll. He fell back on him. So I was like, what is going on with this film? This is crazy.
It's crazy. Speaking of George C. Scott, have you guys watched or are fans of The Hustler?
I have not seen that.
That's that pool movie, right?
Yeah, with Paul Newman.
Yeah, Paul Newman and
You guys have seen Color of Money, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, that's the theory.
Color of
that
Money's a sequel to The
Hustler.
I have not.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God, George C. Scott is in that. It's an early George. It was right before Dr. Strangelove.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's about Fast Eddie and Minnesota Fats.
Right.
Incredible movie. So good. George C. Scott is such an evil,
Yeah,
fucked up guy in that. It's so good though, and Paul Newman is just stunning.
I know. He's
Yeah.
amazing. He's just amazing.
Amazing, yeah. I watched that movie maybe 17 times. It's
wow.
so good.
I know. It's been a while since I've seen it. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah. The cinematography, everything.
You're referring to The Hustler or the other one?
The Hustler.
Okay.
Yeah. Color of Money is good too.
watch it.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
watched it a couple times, but yeah,
I guess
The
I have to watch
Hustler,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing compares. But even during that time, like Paul Newman movies, Cool Hand Luke. Are you guys fans
Oh
of
yeah,
that?
yeah. Well, I don't think I've seen that, but I know of it.
Yeah, that one's incredible. Nobody can eat 50 eggs.
Yeah. I would think of the so far the movies that I've really enjoyed. That I. It's obviously one of the great classics, but I really fell in love with Casablanca again.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched we did a review on that, and that was, man, that was it's such a great movie that I think to today still holds up really well.
I can see that. I think watching like a film history class once, and I was kind of like, oh, whatever. But then
I
wasn't really paying attention.
maybe because like you said your sons are. I love history, so that World War II era is definitely a part of history that I love a lot, and I felt like the characters were very compelling. Like
Really?
I love Humphrey Bogart. He's kind of like
Humphrey,
the last kind of like bad guy. Kind of that tough guy actor. And it's just him and kind of not. He cared, but like he also kind of had this air of like I don't give a damn.
Right.
It's like-
Here's looking at you, kid.
yeah. But yeah, I watched that when I was younger, and
I watched it when I was
obviously,
younger,
and so I didn't appreciate it then. But coming at it now as an older person, and understanding that time period a lot more. It's like, man, this is a great film.
I should watch that again. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch that again.
it's good.
Yeah,
It
very
was
cool.
really good.
Very cool.
Yes, it's been really interesting going into watching some of these films either again for a second or 20th time in
Yeah.
some cases, like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah,
I've
we
seen
did.
that.
Yeah. We did
The trilogy. There's no fourth
There's
movie.
only the trilogy.
But
Sarah's just like,
she,
I'm falling asleep.
yeah, sorry. This is our the
Sorry.
reason we remember this.
if we start
stuff,
talking about Korean
I
dramas,
don't watch-
she's all in.
I see.
Well, I don't watch movies like twice.
Oh,
I don't like to do that.
There's a few movies where I've probably seen it about 50 times.
50
and it's,
times.
and it's still like just as good.
Right.
If you guys had to pick
I
top
can't.
5, well, yeah, top 5 films. It does. I'm sure it changes.
Across,
Of-
genres. or-
across-
Across
genres?
whatever. Just top 5 right now today.
If I
Yeah, Rob.
had to go, so Memento would be my number one.
Uh-huh.
I mean the Empire Strikes Back for Star Wars, that'd be in there. Probably the producers, the originals producers. Although the remake does have its moments, it's good too. Man, maybe Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Nice, nice.
And
Is that 4?
that would be
four.
four. I'm
That's
trying to think of
four.
a fifth one. Maybe Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that's a good
Oh, I
one.
like
Okay.
that one.
I didn't even
Yeah.
see that.
I like
Yeah.
that
I
one.
still haven't seen that.
What about you, Sarah?
I don't. No, don't ask.
Okay, fine. Andy.
Okay, top 5. No, and this is in like no particular order. Saving Private Ryan, Empire Strikes Back,
That's a good one.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. What else? Godfather.
Oh,
Yes.
good one. That's probably on my list. too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man.
And Godfather 2? I think that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole
Yeah.
nother discussion.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay.
yeah, how many was that? Is that 4?
That's 3, I think.
3? Dumb and Dumber.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, that's
I
absurd. That's her
was
favorite
gonna
movie.
say that.
That's her favorite movie. She believes that's one of the greatest movies ever made.
I've seen it a lot.
It makes
I used to play it on TV all the time too.
It just puts a smile.
I was
on,
gonna say that.
it just puts a smile on your face. That's
No,
why
that's
it's
her
cool.
favorite
Absolutely
movie.
does.
Yeah, that's her favorite movie.
It's so good.
It's 4.
I love Jim Carrey. I don't care.
Jim Carrey's awesome.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Let's, what
Like
else?
him. That's a good one.
Probably, I guess the first Iron Man.
Oh,
That one was good.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
James?
For me, probably Pulp Fiction for sure.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yes.
Uh,
That was
good
a
one.
Glory was really good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Glory.
Glory's good.
Yeah, I
Matthew
love
I
it.
Broderick.
watched that.
Dude, I love the campfire
old.
scene. I love the campfire.
Yeah.
scene.
And that scene where Denzel's getting whipped and the tear
Oh
comes
yeah,
out
like,
of his
so
eye.
it was
Such
crazy
a
because
good
like the
movie.
story behind the behind the scenes of
Very
that was a person is only able to withstand like maybe like 3 lashes, but the director he didn't like he wanted that tear, and so he didn't call cut until like that tear fell.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah,
So
so
you
so,
got
so
hit
yeah,
more than-
yeah, so yeah, Denzel got more than 3 hits.
He's a bad.
Yeah,
So he really got whipped.
Amazing.
yeah, so he really got
Crazy.
whipped.
Wow.
They probably had to
Such a
sign a
good
lot of
actor.
like liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Glory for sure. Action-wise, I love 300. That was such a
Oh yeah,
I
fun.
still haven't
You haven't
seen
seen
that.
it?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen
Oh,
it. I
you'll
heard
probably
it's
like it.
very gory.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
it's very
Those-
like
those-
rated R.
I know, but there are a lot of like
lot of abs.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of abs.
I heard
abs.
there's a lot of nudity and
Not
a lot
nudity.
of
Not
Lot of
really,
abs.
not
No?
nudity.
Shirtless
Oh.
men, but
Yeah,
not,
a lot of
not,
shirtless-
not,
Oh.
like, not bottomless.
lot of
Maybe I'm getting
yeah, a
it
lot of
mixed up with
loincloths. A lot of loincloths.
Ooh.
So the guys and girls love that movie for different
like
reasons.
it.
Yeah.
Like it was such a badass action movie. I felt.
Can you wear that?
Maybe for Halloween he could, right?
I know, right?
So 2 more. Dark Knight for sure.
Yes.
I love Dark
Yeah.
Knight.
Very good.
And I guess the last one. Probably maybe like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here's a question for Eric too,
Yeah.
because Andy mentioned Godfather as one
Yeah.
of his
Yeah.
top 5. Now, there's a couple questions to pose here. Is you find Godfather Part 2 better than 1,
We were just talking.
or
about
is Chinatown better than The Godfather?
Oh yes.
Ooh, Chinatown's
Yes.
an amazing
It's- yeah.
script.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing screenplay. Jack Nicholson. Oh my God. And it's about the Valley.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about LA.
It's about LA. God, that's a really good question.
Right.
First question, first part of that, Godfather 1 and 2. I don't know, because as a film, I think Godfather 2, the structure of it is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's...
Yeah, the
it's
flashbacks
The
and-
flashbacks, how they tell two different stories.
Yeah, but they're kind of parallel.
They parallel because they're at the same age. Both
Right.
of them, Michael and
Vito.
Vito at that age. And Robert De Niro is freaking amazing. You know, to see him that young and so virile.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
amazing.
like, but it's also because he's playing two characters. He's playing Vito Corleone, but he's playing Marlon Brando.
He is, yeah.
So-
He's playing the young Marlon Brando. Yeah. But there's something, the importance of Godfather 1 to me is the weight of it is more important to me. So I would say Godfather 1 is I would favor that over Godfather 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tend to agree.
Yeah. But Godfather 2 is amazing.
Yeah, it's just so good.
You know, I haven't even seen any of those.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me,
Come over on Thanksgiving because
Thanksgiving, I have my tradition.
he watches
Oh, really?
it all
Well, the
day.
Friday after
Every
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
it's been an annual tradition for me. I watch all.
So
It's
annoying.
517 minutes if you watch the trilogy.
Right.
I watch all of it.
It's
Nice.
so
Every
annoying.
Friday after
I-
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I haven't
I
even
did the
seen
same thing. I watched it all in one sitting.
You
Yeah.
have to see
Yeah,
it.
you have to.
You have to see. Come
Yeah.
over for
The
Thanksgiving.
third part
I'll
is
be
kind of
watching.
painful because it's
Yeah.
not that great, but you have to get
See,
Yeah.
I disagree. I actually felt like 3 was not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not. Yeah,
It's not that
great, though.
bad.
It's not
But it doesn't
le-
have like the same weight as
Yeah,
the first two.
when you're watching all three, you kind of
Yeah.
tire out.
And it was funny because I'm sorry, Rob.
Oh,
but let me just get this out
Yeah.
real quick. I actually went and watched the third one
Uh-huh.
at the Academy for like the special like events that they did. And then they had like at the end they had like a panel and they had like some of like the actors from it.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
And then it was funny because all of a sudden this kind of like dumpy looking guy came up with like bright orange shirt and like a beard, and then I was like, who the hell is this guy? And he's like walking up towards the stage. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then all of a sudden like the moderator's like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat, Mr. Francis Ford Coppola. I was like, what?
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah, and then he went in like with talking, and
That's so cool.
And he talked about like the whole like history of like Godfather 3, and it's like, it was funny because like when he made 2, like they were like the studios were like begging him to do it, and like you know that they were like just throwing money at him.
Yeah.
But then for part 3, there's like whatever, and at that time he was like at a really low place. He wasn't getting like he's running out of money or something,
Yeah.
and he just took it, and he took like whatever paycheck the studio was throwing at him, and
He just went with it.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, compared to the first 2, which are legendary films, the great films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's definitely not on that level.
Right.
But the movie itself is actually very good, and I felt it was a
Part
good,
3 you're talking
I
about.
felt and I felt it was a good completion to the story.
No, the movie itself, it stands on its own. I would
Yeah.
definitely agree with you, but you can't help but compare it to the first
Right.
2. And Andy Garcia, it was okay. Sophia was painful to watch.
Yeah.
But the arc of the story was actually pretty brilliant, I thought. So in that sense, I think it is a good movie. It's not a bad movie, but for Godfather trilogy, it's the worst one.
Well-
right, it doesn't stand up to its
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Also, in that event, and I would agree with this is Francis Ford Coppola speaking, and he said that like I didn't want to title it Godfather Part 3. Like he didn't want it to be attached like the first 2 movies. He wanted this to be more like a kind of like epilogue, and he wanted to title it The Death of Michael Corleone.
Oh, that would have been much better, I think, if he
Right.
had done that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I think that would have been better for sure. Yeah, because then you can there's a separation there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah's like,
Oh my God.
Okay,
this
should we
is
just
such
start
a
talking about
guy,
crazy-
like,
We'll get into Crazy Rich Asians.
Like-
Just name your top 5. And we'll get
Yes.
Oh, my top
Oh
five.
my
Your
God.
top
Thank
five,
you. I
my
mean,
top 5.
I got you.
Every Thanksgiving. I can't. It's crazy.
My top 5. My number 1 always will be Point Break, the original with Tom Cruise.
Oh, nice.
I think that's a brilliant movie. Directed by Catherine Bigelow. You guys all know the story about
Yes.
Catherine Bigelow, right? With James Cameron.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
During the year of Avatar, she actually beat him. Got Best
Yes.
Director and Best Picture
Yes.
for
Right.
Hurt
Hurt
Locker.
Locker?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hurt
and they used to
Locker.
date.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a
Kick
funny
their
joke
ass.
about that, but Not the. Never mind.
And she was highly involved with Titanic and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of people say she was kind of the genius behind a lot of his work. But I have a mild obsession with Patrick Swayze. So that's why
I noticed on Facebook.
Roadhouse.
yeah.
He has a
Roadhouse is my top favorite. This is my
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
He loves
That's so
It's
interesting.
amazing.
I've-
It's
I've
like it's
never
my
met
favorite Patrick Swayze movie.
Yes.
somebody
yes.
who's so infatuated with.
Patrick Swayze. I've
Patrick
never
Swayze.
met anyone. That's so random.
Well, Eric Nam.
when you posted that picture of him, I'm like, oh, okay.
He
Patrick
loves.
Swayze.
He remembers
Like,
his
yeah,
birthday.
you, I didn't know you like him
Like,
that much, though.
He
That's
he
so
loves him
interesting.
because he makes a tribute every birthday.
There was
Because
a
it's like
point-
similar to my birthday, right? It's in
August
August.
18th. Yeah.
What's my birthday?
August 14th. But
There
I used to
you
get
go.
them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah. That's
Why Patrick Swayze?
I don't know. I just think he's just
He's
awesome.
gay.
He's awesome.
Well,
He's
was it
such
one?
an awesome person. There's just yeah.
One of my favorite actors is also has my birthday.
Oh.
Charlton Heston.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's
there
on
you go.
October 4th.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He was
kind of look like Charlton Heston.
he was in Ben-Hur.
Yeah, young
he
Charlton
was in
Heston.
he was Moses in Ten Commandments.
He was in
Planet of the Apes.
yeah,
Yep.
Planet of the Apes.
He's
He
also-
does look
was
like
the
an
president
actor.
of the NRA.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, he was like,
When
you
I
could
saw
take
your
it from my,
profile, I
you
was
could
like,
pry it from my cold dead hands.
Yes.
you do.
So anyway, let's
I
go back to
appreciate
Patrick Swayze.
Oh,
Yes,
Patrick Swayze.
yes,
Patrick
yes.
Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. There was a time where I almost changed my name
Oh my God.
to Eric.
Never
That's
met
sick.
anyone. I'm glad
Gay,
we're doing this
I'm telling you.
podcast.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, and
It's like the most
That's
random
pretty
thing.
my
obsessive
business
if
my
you're trying to
business
change your
card
name.
was
My
Eric
gosh.
Eric B. My name is Eric B. Nam. My middle name is B, or initial B. And I, for a long time, when I was running the business before, it was like a creative studio. My business card was Eric B. Swayze.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, you're.
I
That's
literally-
intense.
That sounds like a rapper name,
Wow.
dude. Eric
Well,
B.
there's
Swayze.
Swayze.
Yeah,
that what it
I
is?
just think he's,
I don't know.
This is
Everybody
really
would call
cool
you that.
story about him. Like he
He
was a
Swayze.
wild man. Patrick
Yeah.
Swayze is a wild man.
Yeah, he was.
And he loved his beer. He loved his beer. One thing was he was not a womanizer. You know, he would stay true, which I respect a lot. But he loved his beer, and he was intense. There's a story. I mean, you guys may have heard it. He was really big into flying, and he would fly jets all over. And one time he was flying his plane, and he crashed. Something failed, and he was flying over Arizona, and he had to
Right.
crash land into an open field, which was like a farm or something. And he crash landed, and the owners of the property came out, and they were like, "Oh my God, Patrick Swayze landed in our yard!" And they were so excited. They wanted to help him, and luckily he wasn't hurt, and he managed to like maneuver where he didn't get hurt, and he had his
Right.
dog with him, and they were okay. But then they opened the cockpit and they look in the back, and there's like 37 beer cans, empty beer cans.
Oh my
Damn.
He was just loaded,
Oh.
loaded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Totally do.
Damn.
So being big Patrick Swayze fans, I would have done the same thing. They cleaned out the whole plane.
Uh-huh.
They put him in hiding,
Uh-huh.
and investigators came, all the cops came, and whatever, and he was gone for 17 hours from the scene. And then he came back. Obviously, he sobered up.
Right.
So no one can prove
Oh my
that he was
gosh.
under the influence, but they figured out that these guys covered it up for him, so they got in trouble.
Oh,
They
wow.
still never ratted him out, though.
Damn.
That's fucking gangster.
Dang. Yeah, that is.
Dude, I was like, damn, Patrick.
Yeah, I got
Anyway,
loyalty.
Did you like Ghost?
I didn't like Ghost.
I love
That's
Ghost.
what
I
Anyway,
love
let's move
Ghost.
on.
Check that.
So that was one. So what are your other?
Oh, my other four, I would say Godfather 1 and 2.
Okay.
Okay.
God, I don't know. I mentioned Cool Hand Luke. I love that film. Are you guys into like Wong Kar-wai films?
What?
Wong Kar-wai, he's a Hong Kong director.
Oh.
There's a movie called In the Mood for Love.
Oh, I love
I'm-
that movie.
oh,
it's
No,
so beautiful.
Not familiar. Not familiar.
It's
yeah,
so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
It
have a
is
lot of
very
catching up to do.
beautiful.
yeah.
It's
So
I'm
that
gonna
would be my
rewatch
fifth.
this podcast and I'm gonna watch all those movies.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, so that would be top 5 if I had to pick.
That's
now.
your number
Awesome.
one in the mood for love.
No, number 1 is Point Break.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
got it.
Point Break.
Point
This
Break
is
is
number
dope. I
5.
like Point Break.
Yeah, it's
Anthony
like-
Kiedis, I remember, was in Point Break.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was. Yes, he was. And
It's like a
yeah.
fun movie.
That was a
That's
cool
very
movie.
cool.
Yeah.
Johnny Utah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, actually, no, I'm gonna switch one out. Heat. Michael.
Oh,
we
Michael
have to go into
Mann.
somewhere.
Yes.
I've been wanting to rewatch that again.
Oh, so good.
Heat, I
So
don't
good.
remember.
He
Al
was so
Pacino
good.
and Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Was
Val
it like a
Kilmer.
lot of blood and shooting?
A lot of
yeah,
shooting.
I think I do
yeah.
remember.
Val Kilmer.
Yes,
But
yes.
a lot of
He's such a
great
good
lines.
Robert De
actor.
Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Such a
It's
good
that scene
actor.
when they were like
Pacino.
having coffee together. That was-
Yeah, him and Al Pacino. Yeah, so good.
Like the
Yeah.
stare down and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I would take out Godfather 2. I'll put Heat in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well let's talk about Crazy Rich Asians.
Here we go.
Finally,
Let's get
let's get
I kind of don't remember the movie.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I do remember, but
So this is gonna be a very quick review because
Okay.
she doesn't remember the movie, but
Right.
Okay.
no. The reason why I want to talk about this is
Yes.
several reasons. I think it's great. Being Asian American,
Yes,
it was an all
representing.
Asian cast
Yes.
since the Joy Luck Club, right?
Yes.
And
What about
Based
Memoirs
on
of
a
a
book
Geisha?
of trilogy.
well, yeah,
Hey, that was majority Asian cast.
majority. I didn't even watch that one, but yeah. So what did you think of the movie?
I mean, it's based on a book, right? It's
Yeah.
a trilogy. There's 3.
I didn't read the books.
I didn't read the books
yeah, they're
either.
trying to. I think they're setting up for a sequel.
They are gonna
Because
do all
the
3.
next, because the next one is like deals with the sister.
Yeah, with what's that guy's name that was looking at her? At
That fool from Glee.
yeah. Was it Glee? He's in Glee.
Yeah, he was in Glee.
Okay.
Another show I don't watch.
Yeah.
Henry Golding?
No.
I don't know. I'm just.
I think
I haven't watched the movie.
overall, it was a good movie. It was a feel-good movie because she gets the guy at the end of the movie. But
Do we have to
Did
do
I
spoiler
love
alert
it?
or no?
huh?
Do we have to say spoiler
No, I
alert?
think
Whatever.
everybody's watched
Everybody-
it.
Spoiler
No,
alert.
it's like
I
it's
haven't
been
watched it.
like
It's been
number
out there.
one
Yeah,
for like
which has been
weeks
cool,
now
yeah.
because people
Spoiler,
are like
Constance Wu's
you
an
know,
octopus.
completely supporting. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand.
No, I was just trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Yeah, but overall, I thought it was an okay movie. To be honest,
okay.
I think it was very hyped, and I definitely want to represent the Asian movies, and I support them 100%. But was it a fantastic A-list movie? I don't think so. I've seen better movies than
Yeah,
that.
for sure. How
Yeah.
would you rate it?
I would say it was like a B plus.
Okay.
In my book.
Yeah,
yes.
fair
It
enough.
was a feel good
bad.
movie.
That's
Like
good,
it's
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like it's a Chinese like Korean drama,
Yeah.
type of movie
Mm-hmm.
with a good ending.
What were some of your favorite characters?
I love Aquafina. She
Yeah,
is
everyone
off
loves
the
her.
hook.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she
And I actually watched her video, like her music video,
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
Vag.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, she okay.
She's a- you
she's
have
a
to wa-
standout. She's a
Yeah.
standout. A
Yeah.
Star is Born.
Yeah.
We need an Aquafina movie.
Yeah,
Awkwafina's awesome.
she's
I've
so
been
funny.
following Awkwafina for the past 2 years.
Yes, you
Right.
did tell me about that.
And I would like. She's such.
She's
a
Yeah.
amazing.
She stole the
She's
she
so
stole the
funny.
show in this movie,
She
and
actually
she
did.
definitely she needs her own movie.
She
I
needs
think-
her own everything.
Yeah.
I
She's
think
so
she was
awesome. Yeah.
amazing. I think
She's a
she was the
godsend.
star of the movie,
Yeah.
really.
So she's just started off as like a rapper or something
On
right?
YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
just a rapper.
Yeah,
rapper.
I actually did not know that. I thought she was amazing in the movie, and Eric told me that
Yeah.
she made a music video, My
Yeah,
Bat, My Vag.
Yeah.
And I
Like
watched
a
it. And
comedic rapper.
she's amazing. She's such a good rapper.
Yeah, she was
She's
on
on point.
Dumbfounded's vlog. Like Dumbfounded interviewed her. That's when I first saw her
Oh,
on
okay.
YouTube, and yeah, I'm like, okay, this rapper chick, and all of a sudden I see her first on what was that movie? Neighbors 2. She was in Neighbors 2.
Oh, really?
The sorority.
Oh, okay.
She was a sorority girl. I'm like, oh, she's acting now.
Oh.
And then she was in Ocean's
Ocean's
8.
Ocean's
I'm like,
8,
what the
which I
hell?
haven't
Eight.
seen yet, but I want to see it because of
With
her.
Rihanna
Yeah, with
and
freaking Anne
Yeah,
Hathaway.
Sandra
right?
Bullock,
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
That's
Julia
amazing.
Roberts, right? Was
No, not Julia Roberts. She was in the original
Yeah,
one.
but still, yeah, that's crazy.
Bonham
Like
Carter.
A-list actresses.
But I
you know?
think she's
crazy.
truly like talented.
She's
Like she's a natural.
Yeah.
You know,
She's
like
funny.
I really enjoyed watching her character. I think she like made the movie like really
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, because she was
Every time.
the everyman character, like just like kind of like she was a
Wait,
surrogate.
Andy, have you seen it?
What?
Crazy-
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah.
Rich
Yeah,
Asians?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought she was
Because
the
like
one
yeah,
that
because
saw it.
Aquafina's
I'm
character.
the only one that hasn't seen it in this
So
group.
that's why we're gonna text
oh,
each other.
Eric and Robert.
Yeah, but yeah, she
You guys have to watch
Aquafina played the part of like everybody, like even the audience. Like we were experiencing all this through hers. Like so when she like saw like the really big house that the guy lived in, it's like, oh my god, it's like, and that's like that's our reaction. It's like, oh wow, and like being like she was dropping off Constance like the friend off at his house, and then the boyfriend's like, oh, why don't you come in for a while? I was like, no, I don't want to impose. Like, okay, I'm coming to the fucking party.
She was
And then-
very real.
Yeah,
and I
so
love.
and that's like kind of the reaction that
Yeah.
anyone would have is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
you get invited to like the
Yes.
the party,
Yes.
and it's like, no, you're gonna feign
You
kind
can
of like
relate.
you're gonna feign like, oh no, it's okay, I don't have to. It's like, no, I'm gonna come to the party, and
Yeah, she was very real, and
Yeah.
you could relate to her. And I think she was very comical
Yeah.
in the right scenes, at the right moment. So
Right.
I really enjoyed her, and I loved her voice in it.
Her raspy voice.
Yeah, her raspy
I
voice.
love that. I think that's her. You know,
She was definitely a good friend. You know, she gave good advice
she was
to Rachel.
amazing. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, how about you? What did you think about the movie?
I liked it. I thought it was good for
Yeah.
sure. It was entertaining. I liked the visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. But you know, it's a typical romantic comedy
Yes.
movie. Nothing that special, but it was good. It was very entertaining. But there were definitely some holes in it, and I know that it's a movie, but still, like, I guess one of the main questions I have for you and for any female that has seen it is,
Sure.
what did you think about Nick Young?
I honestly didn't think he was a good cast. I didn't think he was very like hot per se. I didn't think he was a good representation of a rich hot guy. Like I was kind of disappointed. I feel like there's other
but there was
actors.
also a lack of chemistry between him and Constance Wu's.
I thought
Yeah.
there was chemistry, but I just think that he was very not who I would have casted if I was the
I think
sorry. I mean
the
for most,
scuttlebutt
I
is
think.
that his
They-
background is
I mean, I'm
more
gonna
like
get
as a
some haters,
host.
yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
But,
Yeah,
his
keeping it real.
background is more as like TV host.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, he
he's
hasn't,
definitely
like-
like
I don't
a
think he's
pretty
really acted.
boy.
That was his like first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's done more like
I
TV
think he's
hosting and things like
attractive,
that.
but I don't think he was hot.
Yeah. So like in
Yeah.
terms of just like his character, not as an actor, but the character in the movie.
He was okay.
He was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think he stood out. I think he was just like the Prince Charming, the rich guy, you know, from a successful family.
Right.
You know, the mom was overbearing, and he was like a mama's boy in a way, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't too impressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
With his character.
Okay.
I was kind of bored. I mean, I've seen many Korean dramas,
Uh-huh.
and it's like the same thing, but
Yeah,
Chinese.
That's pretty much exactly like how I thought of him too. Like
Yeah.
besides being
nothing
rich,
special.
besides being rich and good looking, like he wasn't anything
okay
special.
looking. I didn't think he was super hot.
Damn, you're picky.
Yeah, I'm very. Look at my husband.
Yeah, there you go. But like, yeah, no, I didn't think anything special.
The guy who played the main.
The
character, the Prince
rich guy, the
Charming.
Prince Charming from Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
I don't know.
What's his name?
Henry Golding.
Oh,
Yes.
that's Henry Golding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
very cool.
he was okay.
Yeah.
We were talking.
Oh.
about.
We're talking about his character. Like there was nothing special. It was just
Yeah.
it was just a rich dude that was
yes.
nice. But I felt he was really soft. I mean, so for me, of course, it's a movie, but you know, just for the sake of discussion, it's like I thought that was a huge flaw in the movie was his character. And like that one
Mm-hmm. Right.
scene, it's like
Yes.
that's his girlfriend, you know. And first off, like my other friend told me, she was like, yeah. She thought it was ridiculous that he didn't tell her sooner how rich he was, like ridiculously rich.
Yes.
And that, you know,
But rich people always want to hide that they're rich, right? Like they
guess.
don't want to.
Yes.
they don't
Yeah.
want to be like, yes,
Yeah.
I like
I thought rich
am rich.
people want to.
I know, right?
Like
I
Warren
guess that's the
Buffett,
thing.
right? Like he never really he lives a modest life.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like to.
yeah, in one sense that was really cool
Yeah.
that he kept it humble, because he
Yes.
would even say, you know, I think of it as their money, not my money. But still,
Yes.
he has to like forewarn her of what she's going to get himself into,
Right.
and his crazy mom and everything. I thought he was
Right.
so passive, and
Yes.
especially that one scene. I was talking to Andy about this, the fish scene, the dead fish scene.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
that-
girls like.
Yeah, that's some like
bullied her.
psychopath shit. That's some psychopath shit.
She was in that little bachelorette party thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the girls pretty much like
Yeah, they mean girled
Turned
her.
over.
Yeah, they mean girled her.
they
and,
put
like,
a dead fish on her bed.
I think
and-
that's when I took a bathroom
Oh, you
break.
took a
'Cause
bathroom break.
I went to watch
Okay.
it at ArcLight,
Yeah, because
and I drank.
yeah, because how the scene went is like
No wonder
yeah,
you
she
don't
got
remember.
invited to like the bachelorette like weekend or whatever.
Yes, yes,
And then, like,
yes, I do remember.
Yeah, and then
that.
she made like and she kind of like made like a quote unquote friend.
But they were like
this-
fake friends,
Yeah,
right?
she
It
was
was
a-
like
yeah.
his ex,
Yeah,
who
like
was
the
a
girl
attorney.
like that. Yeah, that befriended her
Yes.
was like the ex to the main character.
Yes.
And then she was like just getting like all these like
Advice.
advice, but she was also getting in like those like kind of like jabs in there. It's
Yes.
like I come,
Yes.
I come for this, and then like she had like the scene where she's like spiraling, and then like she hears like the comments from all the other girls
Yes.
like being like catty bitches,
Yes.
and then she goes to her room, and then she finds like a fish like that's gutted, and it's like
Oh, I didn't see that
That was
part.
gruesome.
I think
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom.
That was a very important part.
Oh, Well,
Was this like a Godfather horse head moment?
Kinda. Yeah.
good analogy. Okay.
So yeah, it was a dead
Okay.
fish.
Yeah, they're like
Bloody,
guts,
Okay.
gutted
like
out.
guts,
So what
like
did
all
that
over the
signify?
bed.
Like Luca Brasi.
Yeah,
To you.
yeah, Luca
Luca
Brasi. There you
And
go.
then what did it say?
Something.
You have something to add, right?
Yeah, of course.
It said like
We have to sit through Godfather. So.
I forgot what it said. The message. Was,
I forget, but it's just like, watch your
It
back.
said, yeah, watch your
or
back, bitch, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, and that's like
But
really
it was
bad.
coming from all the other
Yeah, from all
girls.
the other
They're
girls.
just being haters.
Yeah, all the
Okay.
other catty bitches, and so
Okay.
it's like, but that's like psychopath level.
That is
you know?
crazy.
Who
That's-
does that?
Exactly.
So here's the thing. So
Yes.
after that scene, she talks to Nick Young on the
Yes.
couch. She tells him everything, and his
Yes.
response was, "Oh, is that all they did? Well, if that's all they did, then
He's
I'm
weak.
sorry."
Yeah,
he was so
he's
weak.
weak.
And then he was literally like, "Okay, let's go make some dumplings with my mom."
Ew.
I'm like, really?
That's dumpable
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, if that were real,
I
like,
would dump him.
What if like girls did that to her? She went to a bachelorette party.
But I don't think he like any man should stand up in a situation like that.
Why?
I feel like you as a woman should do that.
No, I would expect her to do it, but
Like
as,
it's her fight, you know
yeah,
what
no,
I mean?
but still, as like her
Yeah.
boyfriend, I mean, that's pretty gruesome. If it was just general bullying, okay, I
but
get it,
I mean, it's a dead fish. Is it?
but no, but it was like it was like it looked really bad.
Hmm.
It looked really bad, and that's crossing the line. I would have like lost it, and I would have
to
like
the ladies.
yeah, I
I
would
mean-
have contacted them and be like, dude, what is this? Why are you doing that? And the movie would have been over right then and there.
I mean, there would be no ending.
Yeah.
There would
Seriously,
be
I would
no
have lost
ending.
my shit, but he was weak. Exactly, that's the way you put it. And the
He
thing
did
is,
show that, yes.
and the thing is yeah, and he was just like, oh, sorry, my bad, like
Yeah, which is
and
like okay,
it's like you got to stand up for your woman, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I see it like I would have stand up to them and be like, bitches, let's
But
go.
wouldn't you, wouldn't you?
Let's
I know,
go.
regardless. But wouldn't you expect
Yeah.
him to be a little more supportive?
I
like,
think
he would,
that's
like, or
that's
like
a
he would
difficult
at least
spot.
like, oh, I gotta go talk to them, and then and then the woman could be like, no,
Yeah,
let
I
me
got
take care of
this.
this.
Well,
well,
Let
I
me see how-
guess I see that, but I felt like it was still her fight.
But yeah, but
against
wouldn't you at
girls.
least like want your man to like make the effort, make the offering, and be like, oh, I gotta go,
Instead
like,
of oh, sorry,
Yeah, I gotta go smack
my
those
bad,
Yeah,
sorry.
true.
Yeah, I gotta go smack those
He was
bitches.
very nonchalant about it.
I
is
thought
the
he was
problem.
terrible.
Okay.
He was terrible,
Right,
and I just felt like yeah, he was a little too much of a mama's boy. I get it.
He
He's really
was.
close with his mom, but you gotta stand up for your girl.
But do you
Poor
think
thing.
it's because it was a Chinese thing, and I think like women are very strong in a Chinese household, isn't it?
I guess,
Like they're
but
very dominant.
But he was
like
he's
That's
more
not the-
Americanized. Than
Yeah,
me.
and
Yeah,
it was
true.
more westernized.
Westernized.
But like but I find it interesting that like
Mm.
the father wasn't in the movie. Like
Yeah.
even though
he
like
was always on a business
yeah,
trip
he was
or
always on his
something,
business
right?
trip,
Yeah.
but like and I guess like this like type
No.
of event didn't necessitate his presence because it wasn't like someone in like his immediate family that was getting married. It was just like a friend of like the family's.
yeah.
So that I guess that understand.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, I agree. He was weak in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like he should have stood up for her more with the like in front of the mom. He just like let her be bullied by.
But isn't that typical? Like, I mean, I feel like I've seen this in Korean dramas, Chinese
But
dramas.
still, like you gotta make a stand. If
But it's
that's gonna
interesting,
be,
though-
if that's your girlfriend that you're
Yeah.
committed to, you gotta make
You
a
have
stand.
to be
She was
stronger.
by herself.
She
You know what I mean?
actually stood ground.
Yeah, she's
most
the
of the
grand-
time.
So which leads me to my next point. Her
Yes.
character, I felt like she had zero flaws. She was like perfect. She stood up for herself, but at the same time, she was really polite with all the family members.
Yeah.
She tried her best to be patient,
She
but she
was.
knew when to strike. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So she had no flaws, and
Her character was
her
cute.
character was yeah. To me, it was like pretty perfect. But
Yeah.
him, he was like some weak
Agreed.
fool. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. So I guess we agree on that.
I
Just wanted to
agree
get
on
your.
that.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I forgot. What,
I think Gemma Chen was so hot.
Yeah.
oh
she-
yeah, super hot.
Yeah.
My second favorite character in the movie.
What role did she play?
Played the sister.
She was like
The cousin.
Yeah,
Rhoda was
cousin,
cousin.
but she was like rich,
Yeah,
and
Nick
her
Young's
man
cousin.
wasn't man
Oh,
enough.
no, I thought they were. I thought her and Nick were brother and sister.
No, they're cousins.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they were
Yeah,
cousins.
they're cousins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I looked
I
at
don't
the
know.
summary
Okay.
thing also.
But whoever she was hot.
Yeah.
What did you think about that side plot
Side plot.
of her and her husband
being less of a man.
No, cheating on her.
Oh, cheating on her, yes.
And then how they ended and everything.
I thought it was beautiful because she stood strong, right? And she she kind of made him, it sounded like, in the movie, to me.
Made him?
Yeah. Like he was successful because of her hard efforts as well. No?
Oh, I don't know.
I
guess.
I don't know.
That was
Well,
what I
I
thought.
took it as like he was coming into this super
Yeah.
rich family, and he comes from humble beginnings, and he was trying to make his own impression, his own
Right.
like path, not relying on like his wife's family's money,
Right.
and he just couldn't deal, and so like and so instead of like communicating with his wife and trying to get her on her side, he just ended up like resenting her, and then going and sticking his thing into something else.
I don't know. I thought she was like the perfect wife. And a
No,
perfect
I'm not.
partner
Again,
to
I'm
him.
not faulting her, but I'm just saying like it's his like own insecurities that like
That led him to their failure.
that
Yeah.
led him to the failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was weak. That guy was
Yeah,
bad.
that guy was
He
very
didn't
weak.
even-
I
didn't
was
even
like,
say sorry,
I was
you know?
like bored. I was
Yeah.
like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like she's so much hotter than you.
He like
you
he
know?
blamed it on her too.
Yeah.
You know?
She was hot.
Yeah. she
Gemma?
was.
She is
Yeah,
hot.
Gemma Chan
seen
is-
photos.
And
She
their
looks very
British
hot.
accent, I don't
Yeah.
know if they're Australian or British.
I think she's from
She's
London.
a she's a
London.
British
I looked her
actress.
up.
She's a British
she's
actress.
very hot.
Yeah.
I thought she was very beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess both of them, like both those characters, were
The males
weak.
were weak
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my only problem is like this movie wasn't about like Chinese people or Asian people or Asian culture. It was about rich people. That's what it was, and I think people are conflating it because like the characters were Asian. They say, "Oh, this is like such a great stride towards like Asian for Asian representation or whatever." It was like, but this movie wasn't really about Asian people or
But I
Asian
guess
culture. It was
the
about
whole-
it was about
I
rich
mean,
people.
there
But the
was
thing with
some
Michelle
aspects.
Yeoh and like about
Yeah.
culture and tradition. and
There was.
I know, but I think that
yeah.
I think that was just like a very thin veneer because it was just about rich people and like how rich people they live at a different stratosphere.
That's
I
true.
mean,
I
couldn't relate. I'm not that
Yeah.
rich.
Right. I mean, exactly.
I mean, I'm average.
Exactly.
So for
like
me,
the only like for Asian people, like the only thing like we could maybe like relate to is like the kind of like the cattiness or like like the kind of the family tradition like or whatever. But like when if you strip that all away, this movie is about like rich people, super rich people.
Crazy rich people.
Yeah.
Crazy
rich
rich.
people. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, would you? Yeah, because we talked about like Black Panther before
Right.
and how that was kind of conflated to be something that I
Right.
felt was bigger than what it really was.
Right.
Would you kind of feel like that this movie was kind of similar to that?
Partly because it's interesting because they say like, oh, this is a great, there's such like, even with Black Panther, they're like, oh, this is such a diverse movie, and like they were the same thing they said about Crazy Rich Asians. It's like, but I don't think you use that, it's like that line from Princess Bride. It's like you use that word, but I don't think I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Because like diversity means like a variety,
right,
variety.
right,
But then
right.
like, how can you call like for Black Panther an entirely black cast diverse or like
All
Crazy
Asians,
Rich,
yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians like entirely Asian cast
It's not
diverse.
diverse.
It's not diverse.
It's not.
It's not. So, I think like people are trying to like lift it up. I mean, whatever you can do whatever you want. You can lift it up or not. But for me, it's just like it was a good like rom-com. But like it wasn't like this great stride for like Asian representation or
Right.
anything like that.
I
It's
thought
like-
it was still cool though. All Asian
It was
cast.
still,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought that was still really cool.
supported.
Can I ask you, Andy? Like, well, all of us, I guess. Speaking on that, what is your take on the push for Asian American presence in Hollywood? I mean, it's been on everyone's minds and tongues for a long time now, and it seems like Crazy Rich Asians, people have been leaning on that to be the vehicle
Right.
to break through. Do you think it has succeeded? And what do you think about the movement of that?
I think if we wanted it, we'd get it. Because I mean, it's funny because I always turn back to this quote from Adam Carolla, where he's like, where It's like he just says like it's like, oh, you know why Asians aren't in
He is the
entertainment?
man of the times.
He's like, you know why Asians aren't worried about being in entertainment? Because they're too busy kicking ass. Because they're like because we become doctors or we become business people. And we all this other stuff. We're too busy thinking. We're too busy making paper and
Right.
to worry about like representation. Like look at just politics.
Yeah.
Very low representation in
Right.
Asian, but Asian Americans are one of the wealthiest groups of people in America.
Right.
They perform better than me.
Yeah, right. They perform even better than this white guy right here, who's supposed to have all the privilege and all, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, so I think if we really wanted it, we'd get it. And I think
What's holding us back? Us being Asian Americans.
Asian Americans.
I don't know if it's holding us back or what's against us right now.
Not making enough noise.
Maybe, but
Do you think Crazy Rich Asians can break through? Can be that vehicle to break through?
I
for
personally
Americans?
think yes, because I think when it comes down to it, I was looking at different reviews, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, in the entertainment industry, it comes down to money, and it was
Yeah.
number one.
Right,
So if
true.
it keeps making money, sure, they're gonna do a sequel and this and that. And for me, I think it's great. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a great
Yeah,
beginning.
it's cool.
We'd like to see more of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
but I think like understandably, everyone wants to go mainstream.
Yeah.
But I think we shouldn't like undercut the accomplishments that Asian Americans have already done, like in the realm of like even YouTube. Like Asian Americans, we're killing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some of like the biggest channels are major or like Asian
Wong
YouTube,
Fu.
like Wong Fu or
The
what is
Fong
that?
Brothers.
Fong Brothers or
Aquafina, Eddie Wang.
Aquafina, yeah.
Dumbfounded.
Sandra
Dumbfounded,
Oh.
yeah.
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh.
Well, she's
Yeah.
great,
I
but she's
think
not
she's
YouTube.
wonderful.
Yeah.
She,
She's not
sorry.
YouTube.
She's a pioneer before she knew
She
she was
is a pioneer. I like
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, props to that. But yeah, I think don't underestimate the like other arenas that that we're also that we're like we can that we already fill
Right.
and we're already doing very well in.
Yeah.
So I think
I agree.
and I think I think if Asian Americans like really wanted representation in Hollywood, then we get it. Because because the work ethic that our parents like instilled in us to like become doctors or lawyers or whatever. If we like put that into like entertainment,
And I think that's happening.
Yeah, I
That's
think like the attitude towards like the creative side is changing,
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's shifting, and I think I think it's a good thing, because not everyone could be doctors, not everyone could be lawyers, not everyone could be professionals, because I think, I was the first one in my family to like kind of pursue a more creative path.
Yeah.
Although like
That's
my older cousins, he did try and pursue kind of like a similar. He said that he wanted to be a photographer too, but then he ended up like not pursuing it. But then I came into my parents and was like, oh, I want to be a photographer. They're doing backflips and they're so excited. Not really. Sarcasm detector.
Yeah. It's off the charts.
Yeah. So but like I had to really work hard and like and go and do like shitty jobs and like do it for no pay and until my parents finally like saw like, oh, this guy's he's serious about it.
Yeah.
And now like for the most part they've been pretty supportive of my decision.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I think we will see more Asian Americans,
Yeah.
personally.
I think so.
And I think
Yeah.
this movie does
Awesome.
help a lot, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really liked Michelle Yeoh's character. the
I
mom.
really liked her.
was
She was
good,
very
too.
strong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What did you think about the climax scene, the mahjong scene?
I thought that was beautiful.
It was good,
Yeah,
right?
that's. I was like, you
It's
go,
like a
girl.
perfect
You
metaphor
go, girl.
for the
And
whole movie.
Yes, and the way she worded it and
Yeah.
the way she presented it to her was very respectful and very strong.
Exactly.
I really like that.
I'm
I
telling
really
you,
like
Constance
that.
Wu, Rachel Chu, right? She was perfect.
She was perfect.
Yeah.
I liked how she kicked ass that
Yeah.
way.
Mm.
Yeah. And then
Although I
she got
don't-
the guy at the end of the day, at the
Lucky,
end
lucky
of the
him,
movie.
not
Yeah.
her, right? Lucky
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. Although I typically am wary of characters who don't have any like kind of
Yeah, that's true too.
Flaws.
It's not a great thing.
Because like even like
But her
necessarily,
character
yeah.
even
was
like
that,
even like the reveal of like the supposed flaw, like she was an illegitimate child.
That's not even her fault.
Yeah, it's not even her fault, but then like kind of
Yeah.
like made her like spiral, but then that was still kind of like a weak like character flaw to have.
Argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was educated, she was smart, she was
Right.
pretty.
Polite,
So
yeah.
I
She was
mean,
like
what?
the-
Yeah, she was like the
what
perfect. She was like the perfect.
mother-in-law
Yeah.
would not
Yeah,
want a
exactly.
daughter-in-law like
Exactly.
that. I didn't understand that,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Exactly.
I
And it's
guess
funny
they had
because
to
like
put a twist
yeah,
on
because like the
something.
mother too, she like faced like the same kind of. She kind of take this like the same crap
She
from
had
her,
that.
from
Her-
her,
right,
from
right.
her mother-in-law.
Right.
And so like, instead of sympathizing with Rachel, she kind of like would kind of just
She was just hating.
yeah, she was hating.
Just
Like she's
hating.
like
But
judged her.
she survived it, and she's wealthy, and she's doing great. So why not give the
I know it's just like
brilliant girl
I
a
think
chance?
I think a really good question, because like there was the scene where the mom was like saying is like, oh, I know you're all these things, but I had to work really hard to gain even like this much approval from my mother-in-law. And because of that, I know you're not enough. But then I think a really good like kind of like response to that from Rachel would have been like, it's like, oh well, it's like even though you're getting all this shit from your mother-in-law, it didn't seem to have stopped you.
right.
So why should it stop me?
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think that would have been a
Right.
much
Script
better.
writers right,
Right.
I think that would have been
There
a
you
much.
go.
I think that would have been a much better response to like her like
What can you say to
Michelle
that?
Yeoh's
Right.
like dressing down of
Yeah.
Right.
Constance Wu's character.
Right. I mean, she caved in it.
It was it was still well played for
was
sure.
well played, yeah.
So I think one of the themes, some other dude that was reviewing it, I think he hit the nail on the head. Is it's like some traditions should evolve. You know what I mean? Like and which it did. She was more like she was changed at the end. She was more flexible and worked out. But yeah,
It was a good movie. It was a feel-good movie. She got the guy. Everybody's happy. We didn't go home like upset.
yeah.
But was it a very good movie?
Was it as good as Point Break?
Nah, no.
I don't think it was meant to be an epic movie. I think it was
I
just
think
supposed to be a good
It's a
feel-good
cute movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cute,
yeah.
happy, and
Yeah, it's just
movie.
like
Yeah.
With a bunch of
take
Asians.
take out the Asian part. It was your typical like rom-com.
I think they did a good job
Yeah.
overall. Yeah, nothing bad to say.
Yeah, so hopefully, I don't know, maybe someday like we'll have to meet some crazy parents, right?
It's
Yeah.
okay because everybody loves me. So
Yeah,
I agree.
people can't help but love
I might
me.
have
Come
to.
over
I
to
might
my
have
house.
to deal with a Michelle Yeoh in the
Yeah.
future. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
As of-
may.
As of
Yeah.
right now, the parents
You
that
don't
I would
know.
have to deal with kind of like me. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a blessing.
That's a good thing.
That's
Yeah.
a blessing.
Sarah's parents still don't like me, so it's okay.
They like you, dear. Stop it. You're just unique. They just needed to get used to.
Yeah, what a very diplomatic way.
You're just unique.
So you're just unique.
You
special.
are. You're
Yeah.
special.
You're so
You're like
special.
Patrick
You're
Swayze.
I just
He
can't
is.
believe. I just can't get over how special you are.
So if there
You're
were
special
if,
too, Andy.
if there were a sequel,
Don't you know
would you
it?
guys watch it? Because there probably will be a sequel.
They will be.
guaranteed there's going to
There
be a
will be.
sequel. If there's nothing else to watch, I'll.
It's funny because it starts conversation because I had a patient who he actually is a famous person. I think he was on The Voice, and I didn't know that.
Was it Judge? As
No,
one
I
of the
can't
judges?
say. It's like
Oh,
patient
yeah,
confidence,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
can't say. But he was on the show Voice, and as soon as he saw me, he's like, "Oh my God, I watched Crazy Rich Asian because I'm Asian." I
That's
was
why
like,
she.
That's why he started.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's like another thing I don't like.
So- Hey, I
watched Black Panther.
Yeah.
But it's like, but at least people are talking about it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Pleased
but-
to hear.
But like this,
I mean,
this kind of like identity politics is like so ridiculous. Like,
but he literally like lit up and he's like, I'm reading the book right now. Only
like-
because I was the only Asian person in the room.
Right,
You
it's
know?
like, well,
that's
good
a
for
little
you.
weird. That's a little weird, yeah.
Like,
But
good for you. Well,
I
it's like,
said,
oh,
hey.
guess what? I'm reading Charles Dickens.
I mean, I couldn't be rude, so I was like going with it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
You know,
I think he meant well.
he meant
Right?
well.
He meant well.
He meant well. You know.
He wasn't like,
You
God
can't hate
damn
on
that,
that."
crazy rich Asian.
Okay,
Asian
what
film.
does that got to do with me? But okay, I'm gonna poke you in like 5
The
minutes.
funniest thing to me was like, when I'm mentioning Black Panther again, but like when Black Panther came out, like all these like black people went to go watch it, and like dashikis and like all these like tribal like like tribal clothing. It's like, what if like you didn't see like Asians go and like wear like their
Hanbok.
hanboks or like the pequois or whatever.
Ah, I miss the cue. I should have been.
Man, you should have done that.
I should have done that with my girlfriend.
You know,
right?
it's just so ridiculous.
The hanbok.
Yeah.
I wonder what response we would have gotten. Right, with like
Awesome.
martinis, half buzzed. Yeah.
Soda bottles.
To each their own, I guess.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's just so that's what it's like so absurd to me. It's just like why
But
does
people
like
are talking about it, which is a very, very good thing, for
but yeah, it's just
they're
annoying to me
sparking
that.
stuff.
But here's the thing, like how far does representation go? Like how far do you have to take it?
I think it's a good thing.
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying like how far do we go with this? Because like let's take for me example, like because I'm an Asian, but I'm also considered handicapped. So like they have to like start catering to me specifically? And so like every like because like they say like,
Okay.
oh, we have to have diversity of people, we have to represent
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes.
So that
Right.
means do you have to represent specifically me? So yeah, so in every show, in every movie,
Yeah.
they have to have an Asian disabled person.
No, but I think if you did, that would be a good thing. I mean, the more diversity you show,
But why?
because people are gonna build more tolerance, no?
But
And
people, but
awareness
but are you
to-
saying that people aren't tolerant towards me already?
More awareness is a better word.
But I guess like, does people knowing that there are Asian disabled people make my life better?
It could.
In what way?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here. I'm telling you, it's like it makes no difference to me if like someone in like the other side of the country knows that I exist, or if people like me exist. It doesn't do anything to enrich my life.
I don't know.
You know?
Well, I think with
That's a tough question.
yeah, too is and
I don't know how to answer that.
I would say is like I'm looking for when I go to the movies. I don't necessarily care about like whoever the actor is or whatever.
This is Patrick Swayze.
Exactly. Well, or Charlton Heston or something like that. No, he's dead, so he'd have to be a zombie.
So is Patrick Swayze.
Zombie
That's true.
Heston.
That's right.
I'd watch that movie.
But anyways, I'm looking for like, what's the best story? Does that particular like, okay, if we're gonna like, this person is handicapped or gay or whatever the the stereotype or situation is, does it play into the story? Does it actually enhance the story? Does it play into like making it a good film? Or are we just putting that person in, this type of, whatever person into that role just for, kind of the sake of putting that person in that role? That for me is like, so while, like I say, I think it's good. It's like, finally like a Asian movie that's not some like kung fu movie or something like that. Though those are great too. Like Black Panther, but everyone's saying like, oh, that was the it's like finally, black people are represented. It's like, well, there's been plenty of other films where black people have played, where like you had Blade, Wesley Snipes was the lead character on that. They had a trilogy.
Exactly, and they're touting like Black Panther. It's like, oh, finally a black superhero. It's like, oh, what about Blade, or what about this other black superhero?
No, I agree, and then I think with the Asian American community, which we're all a part of, I'm kind of torn in some certain ways, the way we go about it, because we always clamor about inclusivity and representation, but at the same time, I think when people go about it, they go against it in a way because they make everything exclusive in a sense that everything is about just Asian Americans. We have to make an all Asian American movie, and Crazy Rich Asians. Finally, we made an all Asian American movie. But why? Why does it have to be all? Because that in itself is exclusive.
Right,
in a sense.
exactly.
And it, in a sense, like when you're clamoring about alienation and being alienated from a certain community, which is the Hollywood, whatever, the machine, you basically are doing the same thing. You're shutting everyone out because certain movies like that, Crazy Rich Asians happens to push through, right, and push through the barriers. But in itself, it is very exclusive because it really just relates to a certain group of people, which is Asian Americans. And I always think about this one Academy Awards. I think it was 2014 or 2015 when Matthew McConaughey won for Dallas Buyers Club. Chris Rock hosted, and there was a whole scandal because Chris Rock brought on these two kids. Calculator thing, right? And it became a whole thing about
the accountants and being
and it's like, oh, like in the Asian American community, we were in an uproar about that. Yeah, it was probably a little bit below the belt, right? Probably distasteful.
Or it was just like really dated.
Yeah, but it was. I laughed at it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But do we have to make us think about it to a point where we missed something that day? Do you remember Lee Byung-hun?
Yes.
Lee Byung-hun, the Korean American actor.
He
He was in G.I. Joe and all these other movies.
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven.
I really like that.
He presented that night next to Sofia Vergara, who is considered one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you watch them together, he was the man. Like she was kind of flirty-eyed with him, and he was just like whatever. But he was up there. He was probably the first Korean American to present at the Academy Awards for a prestigious award, one of the most important awards. No one talked about that.
Right.
Why don't we talk about him instead of like crying about a stupid joke?
Right.
You know, it's
I think,
a little joke.
it's
Talk about celebrate that an achievement. Yeah, he wasn't part of a big community clamoring to get in because he was already in. But let's talk about that. But no one talked about that.
Right.
No one even remembers that. So I don't know. I just find that a
That's a
little
good
bit
point.
funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always find
well,
that
I
interesting.
mean, yeah, because it's kind of interesting because what is it like the last election? You know, whether or not you voted for whatever candidate, it doesn't matter. But what is it? Kellyanne Conway. She was the first woman to lead a successful presidential campaign, right? And you would think that especially like feminists, they would like celebrate this. Oh, finally, a woman. But then what happened? Because it was the wrong candidate. They went after her.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, there's no really winning in anything because especially like, what's the point I'm trying to make? We've been doing this for so long that I'm like,
Is this your longest podcast, by the way?
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
it
The
is.
record.
Yes, you two have set the record.
Nice.
Let's go home.
Congratulations.
I'm tired.
But I think we're just too like looking for. We're just looking for too many errors or mistakes.
Right.
We're not. That we can no longer see like the good things that are happening.
That's true.
And I think that's like the problem.
The
that
glass is 98% full, but we're focused on 2% empty.
Exactly. Good way to put it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's like this one tiny little smudge. Like the rest of the glass is clean, but we're trying to find like that one little like speck on there.
We laugh because that's what I say about her. I'm like,
I knew it would.
she's
come up.
always like complaining about the 2% that's not there. I'm like, did you see everything I did? I took out the trash, I washed the dishes, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you didn't wash my shirt. And that's what the topic is.
I'm very particular. No.
Oh my God.
Eric, come on.
In one sense,
Don't call me out like
in
that.
one sense, it's really good to be meticulous. That's how you'll succeed. But I mean, again, there's
You got to be grateful too.
you got to be grateful too, 100%.
Yeah.
You guys are not hearing the.
And I'm not saying the Asian
That's
American
okay.
community isn't grateful.
Right.
I think it's in our nature to be very
Yeah.
perseverant
Right.
and ambitious.
Right. And I think a really good recent example was the thing with Koreatown, and just like and like
the
just like,
18,700 people showed
yeah,
up.
exactly.
That's
And
crazy.
I think when we want to be mobilized and get organized, we can.
We can.
We can.
Absolutely.
So so like just like that example, I'm like very encouraged. And I think again, I think if we want to like break into like Hollywood like mainstream and get like that representation, I think if we want it, we can.
I think
get
it's
it.
happening for sure.
I think it's already happened.
already
Yeah,
happening.
right. I know. Yeah, it's already happening.
Yeah.
It's like the ball's already rolling. We're gonna get it.
We're gonna get it, yeah.
Especially because we've been raised like with like such like strong work ethics and 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 things like that. So it's just a matter of time.
But even things like K-pop, like I turned on the radio. I'd never listened to the radio.
BTS
When
is
I
all
was
over the
like,
radio.
BTS was on
and number
Kiss
one on
FM, I was
Billboard
like,
and
what am I
yeah,
listening to?
worldwide. It's huge.
Yeah,
and it wasn't
it's a
even the English
phenomenon.
version. It was a Korean
yeah,
version.
That happened with me too. I was telling you about it.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh yeah, that's
dialing
right.
through. I was like, what?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah,
K-drama,
and
K-pop,
thanks to
yeah.
like
Worldwide,
artists like
like-
Psy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were the battering rams, and then
You're right,
knocking
yeah.
the door.
Yeah,
And so like now all these other artists are able to like flow in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Well, very cool. I mean, we should wrap it up now.
Yeah.
Wow.
We should, yeah.
Over
So-
2.5 hours. Sarah's dying.
Yeah. So we broke a record tonight.
Yes.
You guys win.
Yes.
Right, you guys
Um,
win.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
My
This was
first
really fun.
podcast ever.
That was great.
So thank
Yeah.
you very much. You
No,
guys.
Spread the word. Share it
Thank
to all your
you.
friends and homies.
Will do.
Yeah. So normally we don't go this long, so we apologize for that. Thank you guys for
No.
coming
No,
so much. We
thanks for
really
having us.
appreciate you guys coming on. I know you guys are busy. You have a family, all that stuff. So, and it's Sunday, so it's
No, this is awesome.
yeah. So thank you guys for coming. So first of all, how can people reach you if they want to kind of get in touch with you?
Yeah,
or,
like, utilize your
Oh, cool.
service.
Yeah.
Cool.
As,
Yeah, plug yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you need to buy or sell real estate, reach us. Look for us on Instagram. You'll find all the information there. It's at Missignam, MISSIGNAM. And my personal webpage for my family and the vlog is, Instagram is at EricNamLA. That's ERICNAMLA. And Sarah?
Just contact my husband. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Nice.
Send all the hate comments
There
his
it
way.
is.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you
guys very
Awesome.
much.
So yeah, we
course.
could talk about hours on movies, all that stuff.
I would
that
love to
we'll
come
have-
back and talk
Yeah,
about
we'll definitely do that. I want to talk about movies.
I know, just
Yeah.
without
so-
Sarah, just without
Wow.
Sarah.
without Sarah.
Anyways, thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for hopefully you enjoyed the episode. We are, if you want to contact us, we are on Instagram. What was it? What's our Instagram, Andy?
Circle of Jerks podcast.
Thank you. And our Twitter is @podcastcoj. We definitely will take any comments or whatever. And if you want to hit us up on our YouTube channel, that is the Circle of Jerks podcast. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications when we post up new videos.
Share the video.
And definitely leave those hate or like comments. We will respond to either one.
Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't matter. It's an interaction.
Yeah,
Does that say 2 hours and 40 minutes?
Yes.
that does.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Holy
So anyway, so we are done.
We are
So-
as long as Barry Lyndon right now. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't
So
even
yes.
make sense.
So anyways, have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Deuces.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
What
you,
an
guys.
experience.